Well, yeah, my mum always said I was old. She said I was an old baby. She said I could frown before I could walk.
For the past few years, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant, and Karl Pilkington have been meeting regularly for a series of pointless conversations. This is one of them.
Testing. Is that all right? Hello and welcome to the Ricky Gervais Show with me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant.
Hello.
And the little round-headed buffoon that is Karl Pilkington.
All right.
Now, you probably know me from such works as The Office and Extras, Stephen being my co-writer and co-director on those things. For those people who are not so aware of Karl Pilkington, he was our producer, sort of given to us when we first started on XFM. And you're thinking, well, why are we doing a podcast? It's because I like to be in a room with Karl Pilkington. You know, like some people go and help sort of chimps.
Do they?
Yeah.
Well, they go to the jungles and things.
And help out little sort of endangered
Diane
species.
Fossey or whatever.
Exactly.
You're very
yeah.
much the Diane Fossey of the Manchester scene.
Of the little bald mank world. And Karl Pilkington is an ongoing experiment for me, because I've seen him blossom from an idiot into an imbecile. And I want to see it through. Look at the way he's looking at us. Look at that. He's got a perfectly round head. And that's why I'm doing this podcast. Karl, what do you think about all this?
It's just, I mean, we are living in that sort of era now, aren't we? That you need to be able to listen to stuff on demand when you want it and stuff.
I know you're not a fan of the iPod in general, are you? Or any of the MP3 things? You're concerned?
I'm warming to it, but...
This is what's amazing about Karl. Even though he's talking about things like MP3 players, computers, iPods, he sounds like he was found in a glacier and thawed out. Do you know what I mean? And sort of taught to speak.
We're a couple of high school guys who found him, and we're trying to ingratiate him in the gang, trying to pass him off as someone from the modern day.
But my thing with iPods is, now, do we need them? Do you know what I mean? We're living in that era now where we have invented most of the stuff that we need, and now we're just messing about.
They said that in 1900. Someone actually said everything that's to be invented has already been invented. They said that in 1900, and how wrong were they?
No, but what came out, at what point, what was invented in that year where they went, right, that's it now?
The 20th century. Think what happened in the 20th century.
Go on.
Well, planes.
Yeah, but is that a good thing? Planes and that. Do you need a plane, really? Wouldn't it have been better if we all stuck where we should be instead of travelling about? War. Well, look, war's happening, isn't it? Because everyone's saying, well, now we can fly, we'll go over there.
So there were no wars prior to the invention of the aeroplane?
Not like there is today.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, the world's got smaller, hasn't it? Everyone's saying that, right? Yeah. The way I was saying to you the other day, we now go to places where we shouldn't go. People go on holiday to places where you've got to have an injection before you go there.
Yeah.
Forget it then. That's a warning. Don't go there.
I'm with you on that. I don't want to enter a country where I have to have an injection to stop me from dying while I'm in that country.
Right,
I totally agree with you on that.
So what happened is, they invented the plane, and it's like, oh, let's go on holiday, and then they go, oh, I die now. Oh, well, you've got to invent something. Let's invent an injection. And then it's like, right, well, what else do we need to go to that place? There's a lot of faffing. So what I'm saying is... Is
that a place? A lot of faffing?
What I'm saying is, Steve's travelled more than I have. You've been to, like, dangerous places.
I've been to places where you need injections, yeah.
Yeah, but why?
Because it's fascinating, isn't it? Don't you not believe in that idea of travel broadens the mind? It makes you experience other ways of life, other ways of thinking. It just enriches you as a human being. That's the whole reason people go travelling.
But since the invention of the telly, you don't have to go that far to see it.
You're absolutely right.
So there you go, then. The telly was the 20th century, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So where would you stop, then? You'd stop making stuff now? Stop inventing stuff right now?
If we're going to invent something, right, forget, like, the traditional way of people having kids, right? The way they, have it away in that.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
No, like the way that, we have kids and stuff. If it'd be good if what happened was to control it is if man and woman, right, they're born and that, they enjoy their life, they learn a lot, they live to be about 78, I think, by that point.
So specific.
Yeah, 78,
No,
yeah.
but by 78, I reckon you've sort of got to that point where you go, do you know what? I've done everything I'm going to do. If you haven't bungee jumped by the time you're 78, you're not going to do it. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like...
Your hips have come off.
You've done it all now,
Yeah.
and then you die, right? So say if everyone had that, they lived to be 78, but then just as you die, you have a little baby inside you, and as you die, your life carries on.
Sorry.
How is
are
this
you-
happening?
Sorry, are you mental?
No, but don't you think...
I mean, what? I've never heard such drivel.
You're saying that, but if Newton said it, you'd go, interesting. That's what annoys me.
The point is, Carl, he never would.
No,
He'd
what?
never say it. That's the point.
But if you never say it,
I don't understand what you're talking about there. What? How was it? How is there a little baby in a 78-year-old?
No, what I'm saying is it's like an apple, where the apple grows and it's got its little baby pips in it, and the apple goes and the seeds are planted and a new one's born.
But that's what happens.
But that is what reproduction is.
Yeah, but I'm saying babies aren't being born left, right, and centre. It's controlled, so that as someone dies, someone's born.
But Carl, stop. Whose responsibility is
Look,
this?
if you don't want to do it, we won't do it. But I'm
is it
just
supposed to be nature? Has nature got to develop humans so that we act that way? We live that way?
What I
Or is this
like-
a scientific
What
experiment?
I like, he said to you then, he said, look, if you don't want to do it, we don't need to do it. Like, if you were up for it, we'll sort it out. We can do that.
We'll have a whit round so we can do the
It's-
research.
I just think at the end of the day we've got to do something. And is anyone keeping an eye on this and looking at what we can do next to control the population thing? It does my head in that I've got to live in London for work and what have you, and there's loads of people here, and forget going out on a Saturday night, it's too busy, and you can't move, and they keep... I mean, what annoys me about London
So
is...
your solution is that 78-year-old women have little babies inside them, and as they slip away into death, the little babies... And how is that baby then
Who looks
raised?
after
Who
the
looks
baby?
after the baby?
Because it's a pretty good system having a baby while you're young enough to look after that baby and make sure it lives to, reproductive age itself.
I mean, that system's been working for years.
Nature's sort of sorted it out. Natural selection and evolution sort of makes that a good model.
But wait a minute, nature. Pop that on hold, because Karl Pilkington's got an idea.
Yeah.
That's what it was, just an idea.
Yeah, well, it was nonsense. But thank you for it.
The worst. I mean, it was the ramblings of someone you'd find by themselves in a hospital eating flies.
This is the sort of thing you find when, if they find maybe a pamphlet or a booklet written by a psychopath. Someone, just before they went on a rampage and then turned the gun on themselves, they go through their possessions and they find a book and it's got weird drawings, women with knives in their face, and this kind of
In
garbage.
fact, I saw a similar sort of theory written out on a wall, but it was written in shit.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, all I'm saying is, I think it's, when people die normally, everyone's fed up about it, aren't they, and a bit down. But if when you pass away, you go, oh, we're going to miss Gladys or whatever, but then there's this new life brought in, it's almost like a bad news, good
But
news.
you're talking about it like someone could pick this idea up and run with it. Like you've given them enough information to do it. How is this possible? Where does she get the baby from? Why does it grow? Why grow it in Gladys's belly? Why not have it in a drawer?
But what I'm saying
ready to go, just add water. I mean...
Who looks after son of Gladys?
There is no theory here. There's no... It's the ramblings of a madman.
What I'm saying is, though, the body's always changing, innit? From caveman to now, or whatever.
In some cases.
And they're always finding out more and more. Like I read the other day about how they're saying, do you know, like they say, people have six senses.
Yeah.
There's loads more than that. Right, and there's this one...
I say, show me that you've got one.
No, right, and there's this one that's knocking about.
Go on.
That what it is. Say if I'm in a pub, right, and I'm just doing a crossword or whatever.
Unlikely, but go on.
And there's some woman who's walked in, right, and she's staring at me.
Yeah.
I know she's looking at me, and I look up and I look round, she's looking at me.
Right.
And they're saying that's a new sense that they found out from, like, doing tests and what have you.
Yeah, it's rubbish.
And they're saying
okay.
that's been around since like man and dinosaur was knocking about.
They've stopped.
No, they've
pursuing-
explained
I think it's safe to assume that, that with your perfectly round head, people are always stopping and
No,
looking.
but they explained
you
it.
just know that there's probably going to be someone there if you look
They
right.
said it's from the time when, like, caveman was, like, wandering about, and he'd go, hang on a minute, and he'd look round, there's a dinosaur there or whatever, and he'd leg it.
This is nonsense.
Not-
I hate it when people use the term when caveman was wandering round. Caveman and dinosaurs. Oh, they used to live together. Yeah. Oh, that's the same era. Yeah. What have you been watching? Raquel Welch.
What do you mean?
Well, what do you mean caveman wandering, knocking around with a dinosaur?
You know the Flintstones is only partly based on fact. Dinosaurs and man did not coexist. The dinosaurs had long gone before man arrived. Extinct. Kaput. You don't believe us?
Well, you don't believe it because you've seen...
Because you saw that film where they took pictures of lizards and magnified them and put them next to men in films so they looked like they were fighting.
Yeah.
No, but why couldn't that have happened?
What is the film with Raquel Welch? A Million Years
10
BC.
A million years BC or
A
something.
Million Years BC. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but
She had a sort of woolly mammoth bikini. Fact.
why wasn't the dinosaurs back then just like how we have dogs now, in a way?
He's watching the Flintstones.
He's watching the Flintstones.
He's thinking of the Flintstones.
Yeah.
That's what he's
when
thinking.
He puts out the saber-toothed tiger and then Dido
and he
puts
mixes
in.
his concrete in a pelican.
Yeah.
I just think that there must have been a crossover point.
Why? Why did you say that? Why do you think there must have been
There
a
must
crossover
have
point?
been.
Because if nothing was knocking about at any point, how did anything carry on?
I know. Exactly. Why didn't Hitler meet Nero? It's weird, isn't it? There must have been a crossover. They must have met somewhere. They must have met at a party somewhere.
They mixed in similar circles.
Yeah. They must have bumped into... I can't believe it.
Forget it.
Oh.
I met Derek Akora the other week,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Now, who's he? Which one's he?
He's
Is he a medium? He can contact the dead, is that right?
he just chats to him and that, passes
Sure.
messages on.
Nice of him.
So I said, "Oh, tell us something a bit weird and that." So he said, "What do you want to know?" I said, "Just something weird." So he goes, "All right then." He said, "Here's one for you, right?" And he said, "There's this pub out in the country, and he said there's this mug. Do you know those old mugs that they have, where they used to like leave their own cup knocking
Like a
about, didn't they?
Oh, yeah.
Tankard thing."
Yeah.
So there was one of them mugs in there, right? And everybody...
Tankard. Let's use tankard if we've
All right,
established
okay,
that's the word.
tankard, yeah.
Because you're the only mug in this story.
Right.
You believe in it all.
High five. Great.
So this tankard's knocking about, right? And everyone who's running the pub keeps going, "Oh, I wish they'd stop leaving this tankard about," right? And they pick it up.
It must be a pain. Having a tiny, small tankard in a pub. That must be a real grind.
So every time they sort of picked it up and went, "We'll have to wash that," and they popped it on a different sideboard. Next thing you know, that person who's touched it died, right?
Sure.
So
They must have been getting through bar staff.
so they kept getting in new staff and that. And they were like, "Oh, what's the connection here?" Right?
What's the connection here?
Oh, God.
So they get a vicar in
Of course they do.
and they go, "Look, there's a lot of weird stuff going on here. This tankard, every time someone touches it, they die." So he said, "Leave it with me." He gets his special water out and what have you. He comes round, does a little prayer, sprinkles it. He goes, "Right, not a problem, don't worry about it." He picks it up, chucks it in the bin. Guess what?
What?
Dies in a crash on the way home. Because he picked it up.
Well, but Karl, you're telling me this like it's fact, and I'm meant to go, "That's
Derek
amazing."
Akora, he told me.
Karl, I have no opinion of that story other than I'm pretty sure there was absolutely no connection between touching the tankard and him dying. That's all I'm sure
It's
of.
not just him though, is it?
I'm not going to even contest the chain of events. All I'm saying is there is no connection. There is no connection possible because I believe in logic and the laws of the universe.
Yeah, but what I mean, you never pick up a vibe of... Like, I've got a mate, right, who he's living in this big stately home, right, and he's living in there now. He pays £100 a month. There's about 80 rooms.
Gee.
And it's this big stately house and what have you. And I went down there. He said, "Oh, come down and have a look," right? And from outside you go, "Oh, this is brilliant. It's like something out of, you know, like the Man of Born or something." You go, this is impressive. But then when you get in, it's like it's a wreck. And we go in, and all the floors are like a wreck and rotten and stuff. And I looked at the wall, and there was like a little piece of paper stuck on the wall, right? And I said, "What's this here?" So I wandered over, right? Got right up close to it, and somebody had roted.
Somebody had roted.
Oh,
Somebody had roted.
I love
someone-
this. Right, go on,
So there's a little sign there, right? And I go up to it, and it says flies, right, with an arrow, flies this way,
Yep.
right? I think that's a bit weird. So I follow the arrow, right, which goes to this corner where there's a shelf, about 3,000 dead flies on it,
Oh my God.
condom stuck on the top. Right, you might remember in the first podcast, I was telling you about this scary house that my mate lives in, where he's like a security man. You're not like a security man, are you? What are you?
Well, just look after
You just look after it and that. He just looks after it. So this is it, because I thought I'd show you around it, because just in case you thought I'd made it up and that, about the bit about the flies and all that, where there's flies on a shelf and stuff. So this is the sort of state I was telling you how it's a mess. This is it. Ceiling's caving in over there. It's just there. Pair of pants. Right then, we've found the room that I was talking about on the podcast, with the dead flies and that on it. This is the sign that I was telling you about. Got a fly on it, right, little arrow. There's flies here, look. Little ladybird there. Oh, flies attacking the ladybird and that. Right, so you've got that. So follow it along. Right, you think, well, there's nothing there. And you've got, you can get the camera up there, right? Look at that lot. Where the dead flies. I'm just showing you this because some people have said, oh, you made it up and all that. But there's no way, just for the sake of the podcast, I'd go around collecting that many dead flies. There's a condom as well that I was talking about. Weird, isn't it? That's weird, isn't it?
That is weird.
That is weird, right? So I'm looking at that, and there's loads of stuff on the floor and that, bits of paper. Picked up this bit of paper, right? And it had, like in biro and that, it looked really old, like it'd been there years. And it had something like, need nappies, dummy, right? Blankets, blah, blah, all this, like, all stuff for, like... And I turned it over, right, and it said, none of this now needed, baby dead.
Right.
Now that's weird, isn't it? Now that's what I'm talking about when you get a bad vibe, you go, that's who's been in here?
It's bad vibe, it's just based on the fact that...
Your mate's in charge.
Yeah, that's terrifying. I mean, yeah, so it's like saying, are we scared of the dark? Yes, I understand why people are scared of the dark. I'm a little bit scared of the dark. You're walking along...
Because you don't know what's in it.
Yeah, you don't know what's in the darkness. That's why people get nervous. It doesn't mean you have to make the leap then that you've got some paranormal sense. Oh my God, I'm Karl Pilkington, and hang on, just like Derek Acora, I have sensed something strange and evil in this room. Wait a minute, there's some flies in a condom. I was right all along.
That is weird.
Flies in a Johnny equals badness.
The flies in the condom was weird.
It's weird. I don't know.
But the note.
Yeah.
I just think of his face when he saw that, reading it by torchlight. You must have been terrified.
It's a bit odd, isn't it?
Rick, you'll be pleased to know we've already had some responses, and Simon and Mark have already emailed us in this link to something that was on the BBC News website. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but it's a remarkable story. Lion mutilates 42 midgets in Cambodian ring fight. That's just the headline.
That's a hell of a headline. That makes me want to know more about the story.
Well, that's what a
headline should do.
Spectators cheered as entire Cambodian midget fighting league squared off against African lion. Tickets had been sold out 3 weeks before the much-anticipated fight. The fight was organised when an angry fan contested Yang Shamoni, president of the CMFL, claiming that one lion could defeat his entire league of 42 fighters. Well, the fight was ended, Rick, after only 12 minutes, after which 28 of the midget fighters were declared dead,
right,
while the other 14 suffered severe injuries, including broken bones, lost limbs, and they were basically unable to fight
But the
anymore.
lion wasn't hurt?
It would have seemed that the lion was okay.
Oh, Good. Well, that's amazing.
Karl, what are your thoughts instantly? I mean, you're bound to have a take on that.
See, what's annoying me is I've sent money to Cambodia because apparently they're hungry and haven't got any energy. So what's going on?
Well, it's much easier to fill up a midget than it is a regular Cambodian. You know, they're
I just
happy
feel
on
like
a Mars bar.
I'm being cheated a bit.
You were conned before with a charity, weren't you?
Well, a few times, yeah.
What about the old lady? What was that?
I got stopped, and it's like they sort of drag you in by saying, "Have you got a gran?" And I said, "No, they died," and that. It's like, "Oh, did they die of the cold?" No, just, ill. What have you? Just old age. He said, "Well, what happens with a lot of people's grans is they die in the cold, right?" So I was like, "Oh, that's bad, isn't it?" Anyway, so she's chatting and she's showing me pictures of these old women who look cold, right? Saying, "Look at her, that's Edna. She's got no family. She can't pay the bills and all that."
Yeah.
So I'm like, "Oh yeah." Anyway, it goes on for about 15 minutes, and you feel bad. You give them your bank details, right? And what happens is every couple of months you get a letter from Edna. Well, it's not from her; it's typed up and what have you. But there's a picture of Edna, right? And it's saying, "Oh, this December, Edna's going to be extra cold. It's cold outside. She can't afford to pay the heat and what have you."
Yeah.
Keep going, right? So you keep paying every month like £5, whatever. Get another letter a few months later, right? Edna's sat there. She's got a tan.
What do you mean she's got a tan?
Well, when they said, she's cold, I thought they meant for the heating, not to send her on holiday for a month. She sat there with a tan. I'm not joking.
Are you sure it wasn't just a sort of a slight problem in the printing?
No, definitely.
Sure,
She looked well happy.
Sure, it wasn't liver failure.
You see, when does it become like bad to avoid people like that? Do you know what I mean? Because some people say you shouldn't. They're people like us. They've just had a bit of bad luck. And
Well, of course they are.
Yeah, I know, but I remember one on our estate, right? And she was a bit. What's the word that you can use? Because I don't want to offend anyone. But I'd say but sort of mental homeless. Is that a term?
That's the official term.
I think that is the
new official term. It's mental homeless-itis.
Right. So she lived on the estate and what have you, and she aged.
How was she homeless if she lived on the estate?
Well, she sort of decided to stay around there because I think people on the estate spoke to her more than people who had money. So this mental homeless woman on the estate, and what she used to do, right? She acted quite normal, and she used to always push like a pram around with her, right? And everyone was like, "She can't have a kid, can she?" Right? And she was dead happy every day. She was up and down, walking up and down the road. Anyway, one day she sort of walked past, right? Turned round and looked in the pram. There's a bucket with a face on it.
Rick, we've had an email here from a bloke. I think you're going to respect him because I think you can tell straight away from his name that he's the kind of guy you'd want to hang out with.
Go on.
I know how much you love fun people.
Yeah.
Well, Paul, and he's calling himself this, Paul the Party Animal Parker. He's emailed in. He's given himself that moniker.
Right, I assume they're in sort of like quote marks,
They're
are they?
in speech marks, yeah. Paul
Brilliant.
the Party Animal Parker.
And he's calling himself that.
Yeah.
That I can't wait.
So when you picture him, what are you thinking?
Millhouse.
Right, okay.
I think he looks like Millhouse from The Simpsons.
Yeah. He's working in sort of an IT department, maybe?
Yeah,
for a large
possibly.
organisation?
I think he might still be at school.
Okay, right, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think.
and this is the vital question. Do you believe him to be a party animal?
I believe him to be a party animal is as much as a man with a long scarf that his mum knitted him to look like Doctor Who can be a party animal, yes.
Do you think that when people are organising parties at his school, they're thinking the first person they got to get on the list and make sure he's guaranteed as
You've
a
got
guest
to take Paul the
is
party animal.
Parker.
Because I bet he's got millions of affectations. I bet he wants to be known as the one that carries around a biscuit tin.
Yeah.
He's got the scarf.
He's the guy who only ever wears bowling shoes. It's his thing. It's his thing. He's a little bit kooky, it's his thing. And it is fairly interesting what he sent in. He's found this on the web. A Serbian man who has invented a sex machine for women. And he's appealing to Western women to test his device. It runs on a 390-volt electric engine, simulates sex, and has a 7.5-inch artificial penis. As soon as I read this, I was thinking, just imagine him there going, "Oh, thanks for coming in, yeah, okay." So what's going to happen is there's a penis that's going to pop out from here, and it's going to have sex with you. I'm going to stand behind the machine. I've got to stand behind here. There's a lot of dials and stuff. I don't want to bore you with.
Well, why do you have to stand behind it? Just
I can't. It's technical stuff. But I got to be behind the machine.
But there's no penis on the robot at the moment. It's just a hole.
No, don't worry. What'll happen is I'll switch the machine on. I'll go behind, and then a penis will appear.
Will it be like a metal-looking penis?
It will be a robotic penis, but it will seem like it's a regular fleshy human penis.
So you've made this sort of low robotic penis look really realistic.
It's really realistic. You will not be able to tell the difference between, say, the robot one and mine, for instance. You
Okay, well, I don't want to see yours.
No, there's absolutely not.
Because I've not come around here to have sex with a person.
I know, you've come around to test the machine.
Yeah,
and that is exactly what you're going to get.
Okay,
Like a
well,
piece of mechanical action.
To a lot of people, sex is important, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Not to you.
Well, it serves a purpose.
What purpose?
No.
Because you don't want to have kids, so what purpose?
Just you know,
Something to do in the
something
evening
to do, innit?
when the telly's broke.
But for years, like they've found stuff, haven't they? Machines from like Roman times that similar to that setup.
No machines in Roman times.
Like that though, the old sort of knob on a stick machine thing.
The old Roman stick. I'm sorry, but I watch Time
Aqueduct.
Team every week, and Tony Robinson has never done that. An old knob on a stick machine.
I just think of Julius Caesar sitting down and go, okay, aqueduct, we love that. Thanks for that. Straight roads, good idea. We can see the enemy coming. What have you got there?
Well, I'm glad you've asked.
Ploncticus. What have you got there? Wanklicus.
What I've got here is a Yodi knob, and I've put that on the end of a stick.
Oh, stickus phallus. Okay, well done, Wanklicus.
No.
Well done. You are my new right-hand man, as they say.
No,
excellent.
But they do stuff like that. You've been in the London Museum and that, and they've got sort of sex stuff from years ago. They've got like these metal pants that they used to wear.
I don't know what that is.
Metal pants.
Yeah, sort of
Is
metal.
that a chastity belt? You mean? They used to make women wear them so that they could.
When-
No, but they had them for blokes as well, though.
metal pants for blokes.
Yeah,
Why?
I just think they sort of like sexy metal pants.
What? Oh, I don't know what you mean.
What
with
are you
sexy
talking
metal
about?
pants.
Well, they'll have to look because they haven't got it in front of me. It's just something I remember seeing, some sort of sexy metal pants that they used to wear.
But what are you saying, sexy metal pants?
Well,
they
that
always
was
had
not
to
British Museum. That was Soho.
No, what I mean
That was
is
Old Compton Street. You were looking
they
at the
always
shop
had to
window.
be ready for like battle and that, but these were a little bit sexy but protective at the same time.
I love that. So, Lancelot, are you ready to face the Black Knight? Yeah. What do you think of these? Huh?
I just want to look good on the battlefield. Will there be women watching, cheering us on?
Well, you're not going to fight like that, are you? What about with your
I'm going to wear nothing except these sexy metal pants.
But what about your chest is exposed?
well, it's a good chest. I've been working out.
Yeah, I know. But what I mean is, you want metal all
I've
over.
actually been lifting up the round table every week. I just work out, do that about 4 times a day.
But that machine, right? Why did it have to be a woman, or could they have got a little gay fella in?
I
Let
don't
me
know.
just check. It doesn't actually specify the small print here.
I love that. Why do you want to see a little gay fella be?
I don't want to see it. I'm just saying they're sort of more.
Carl? Why do you want?
I don't wanna see it.
Why do you want to
Don't wanna
watch a
see it.
gay man get buggered by a robot?
I wasn't the one typing in gay machines on the internet, finding stuff out about them.
It's not a
Steve
game
was.
machine. You just made it into a game machine.
Yeah, he wanted to pleasure women with this machine. You're saying, can I see a little gay fella get a robotic cock up his arse? You're the one requesting that, Karl
I don't want
Pilkington.
that. I'm just saying that.
You're the one that wants to see gay men with metal stuff up their anus.
No, what I'm saying is they're more up for a bit more experimentation than.
What are you saying? Why is that the case?
Why? Why'd you say that?
No, just they just butt plugs and that. I mean, what I'm saying is.
What, you can't just say butt plugs and that.
I'm just saying that I reckon they'd be up for it.
What do you know
I'm
about
saying.
butt plugs?
I don't know anything about them. I just remember seeing an advert for some once in a sex shop.
What are you doing?
No, I wasn't. I was just walking past. I was walking past the sex shop and that, and
Your
you know,
eyes
you're sort of
glitz,
looking.
glitz,
Why were you walking past a sex shop?
Just because I was on the way to work and that, and I passed one, and there was a little sort of one. It was open early, which I never understood. Right, it was about 8 o'clock in the morning. Right, and I
Who's
thought,
rushing out for
who's
butt plugs
rushing
that
out?
early in
Yeah,
the
who
morning,
needs them now? Right, but I
I
sort
must
of
get
had
a bagel and some poppers on the way to work.
But I walked past it and it had like a little post-it note or postcard type thing, and it was like pop in now, buy an item, chuck in some free butt plugs. And I didn't know what they for. I'd never heard of them before. But all I'm saying is I've since found out what they do with them.
What
And
do
if
they
they
do with
do that with them, then
Yeah.
give them a go on that.
Another email here. It's an interesting fact. I'm hoping it's true. America's first nudist organisation apparently was founded in 1929 by 3 men. Now, what intrigued me when I read that is the fact that it's clearly 3 blokes just trying to meet some nude women.
They're all 52 balding
Exactly.
with little So those gold-rimmed glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're just wandering around, and it's all quite saggy down there, and they're just knocking on doors saying, we've just set up an organisation, it's perfectly above board, completely
Yeah.
legitimate, it's a nudist organisation. You got any women in there that want to come and join us? Because we haven't got any female members at the moment. Got any women in there interested in, volleyball or trampoline?
I can't be doing with it, me.
You hate nudists, don't you?
Nudists. I don't understand what it's all about at the end of the day. And here's something, right? Do you know, like, when you're a bloke nudist, right? Do you ever get any who just have, like, a small knob?
I don't know. I don't understand the question.
What's that? What's your point?
Well, are there any blokes who are knocking about who just have a normal-sized knob, or maybe a bit smaller than normal, who are happy wandering about showing off what they haven't got, if you know what I mean?
I don't think nudists are just doing it because they're so proud of their knob.
No, but there's got to be a little bit of that in it, isn't there? Just saying, most blokes who, nudists, they must be pretty confident in themselves to, I looked once.
What?
Where
are you
Because
going
it's
with
natural.
this?
It's natural, that's what I'm saying.
What do you mean? This
As a
is
bloke-
Carl takes a sneaky look at menscocks.com.
No, what I'm saying is, it's natural.
Where was this happening? You were in a gym.
No.
A lot of guys are getting changed, and you were just checking out their knots.
You're at your bedroom window with a pair of binoculars,
No.
and there was a little fella across the road getting changed.
I was at some night out once.
Go
right?
on.
So you were at heaven, and you were in the
It was
toilet.
some night out, and some people come running on the stage, right? Some music started coming on, and these 4 people ran out. It was 2 women.
So
2
you were at a gay
blokes.
strip club.
It wasn't gay in that. It was just a normal night out. Well, some sort of party night out.
Right.
These people come running on, right? You got 2 women, you got 2 blokes.
Right.
They whip their knickers off. The fellas whip their undies off.
At the same time?
Yeah, all at the same time.
Was it like
that,
was it like a choreographed thing?
So that happened, and all I'm saying is, right, before I had a look at the woman's bits, right, I just had a little cheeky glance at the fellas.
Why?
Just checking it out, just seeing is everything normal down
Why
there.
weren't your eyes drawn instantly to the ladies' bits?
No, don't believe me. I had a look at that. All I'm saying.
But you went to the guys first.
I didn't know how long pants were going to be left off for.
So you didn't want to miss your opportunity, is what you're saying? You saw a window of opportunity to see some men's bits, and you thought, I better take it.
No,
because this may never happen again.
No.
So what happened? So there's 2 women, 2 men, right? I don't know what sort of event this is where you're looking at anyone get their knickers and pants off. I don't know why you're looking at all. So you go right. There's knickers and pants off. Right. Let's check out the knob and testicles first.
You're telling me you've never, like, when you've been in a gym or anything, you've not just sort of turned your head, had a look, and gone, all right, yeah, that's all right. Yeah.
So let's just get this question right. Have we ever been in a gym and just taken a sneaky glance at a man's genitals? Is that your question to us?
Right, for me, it's the same as when you see someone who's a bit odd, 2 heads or whatever.
Well, I'll be honest. If I was in a gym and a bloke came in with 2 heads, I'd look. I'd get a sneaky glance in the mirror. I'd go.
Sorry, but you'd look at his genitals or his 2 heads?
It's 2 heads.
Or would you sneaky look at the heads and then think, I wonder if he's got 2 cocks? And just...
I'd have to have a look there. If I'll tell you what, and now I admit it, if I'm ever in a gym and a naked man with 2 heads walks in, I probably will check out the genitals as well, just to make sure that he's got 2 of everything.
Can I tell you the thing that always freaks me out? I do sometimes go to the gym, and I live in North London, and the thing that always freaks me out is if there's an elderly man, often quite short. I'm always freaked out because there's at least 2 I'm aware of who've got very, very large penises. And I always find that really disturbing because sometimes you can't help but notice because it's like Godzilla coming through the change room. Do you know what I mean? So
there you
that
go.
I do admit that's the only instance where my eye has been naturally drawn to it.
Do you know what annoys me in gyms? Where people walk round happily naked all the time whistling. They get weighed naked, pop a towel on and take off 3 ounces.
How exact have those measurements got to be?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Pop a towel on. I mean, unless you're going on the space shuttle, I reckon you could give or take a couple of stone. Yeah, a couple
exactly.
of ounces.
Yeah. Absolutely right. Well, we've put that to bed. Talking of eating knobs, Carol Thatcher, a daughter of one of our leaders.
Sure.
Well, you saw her in I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. She popped a couple of bollocks in the mouth, chewed them up, swallowed them.
Oh.
Kangaroo penis there, dried. She couldn't even get. It was so tough she couldn't even get through it. And then she, eventually she eats
What was it, like a pepperoni?
Yeah. And she. What do you think of that, Carl?
What, eating that sort of stuff?
Yeah.
I watch it. I like those little trial bits, right?
Yeah.
But what I don't think people realise is, right, it is hard eating a little kangaroo knob. Right?
Really? How do you know?
No, it's just, you think about it and you go, oh, couldn't do that, right? But what they never mention on the TV programme, which I think takes it to the next level, right, they're eating that at like 7:30 in the morning.
Sure. Right.
Which
for
is
breakfast.
worse, innit?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If I was there and Ant and Dec said, right, Karl, eat the knob, I'd go, hang on a minute, give us a few hours, let me get some rice and that on my belly and just sort of fill me up a little bit more. I'll pop back at about 6:30 this evening,
Right.
have it ready. And I'd be happier then. It's just that thing of, you
You don't want to eat animal genitals on an empty stomach.
So what are you saying? You could
I'm saying like I could eat a knob at night, but
just cut that there. We'll loop that. If any DJs are listening, just take that quote. I could eat a knob at night by Karl Pilkington. Maybe do a dance remix.
Yeah,
Just
I think maybe you're sort of a house producer and you could maybe get some kind of high energy beat going, and then we could just send that out to some of the gay clubs. I'm sure it'd be really popular.
Please, anyone send us, that looped with a nice little, funky house beat. Karl Pilkington saying I could eat a knob at night.
it is hard eating a knob.
So what are you saying? You could...
I'm saying like I could eat a knob at night. 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 Knob at night. I could eat a 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 knob on the street. I could eat a knob at night. 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 Do you know the other week when I came up with like a different idea of how we can sort of make the world run and that?
Can we just have a quick recap of that? Because I seem to remember it was a load of old arse.
It was ridiculous. It was he was saying that the world is overpopulated, so the system would be where people were living too long and stuff. So what happens is people live till 78. I don't know how you can enforce that, right?
Yeah.
But when they die, they've got a little baby in their stomach,
Right.
like a pip in an apple, that then carries on when they die.
Right.
It wasn't a theory. It was an idea. It was the ramblings of a mental
You're
case.
saying it's stupid, but someone's emailed in and said, "Oh yeah, that's pretty good." Just saying, if that's a no, right? I've been thinking.
It is a
about,
no. What
about if we do it the other way, right?
Ah.
Go on.
Somehow, I don't know how.
A kid has an old lady?
That's what it's going to be, isn't it? A child will give birth to an old man.
No. What I'm saying is, right?
Go on.
Work the other way round.
Come on then.
So if somehow we can inject something in like a body that's just died, right?
Listen to this. Imagine this is notes.
So-
when he hands it into the Nobel people,
Yeah.
and they go, if there's a way that we can inject something, they go, well, what? Well, I don't know the chemical formula, but something HO2.
Right. So anyway, so you inject it in the temple.
He's narrowed it down to the temple.
So what happens?
She sort of wakes up,
Amazing.
right? And she works the other way. So like she might be 77,
Yep.
and then she'll have a birthday. She's 76, and she's working that way.
Right.
If you know what I mean.
Okay.
Are you with me?
No, keep it.
Because the thing is, you've got.
I'm really scared.
Yeah.
I'm really scared. This is the maddest thing you've ever said. This is madder than the old lady with the pip like an apple in her belly.
It sort of did work.
This is...
No, it didn't work. It worked in your head. It's like a dream that you wake up and go, oh, I've got a great theory. And
This is it. Let me just tell you the
on,
ending, because the endings works out a bit better.
Go on.
What I'm saying is, when you die at the age of
78.
9 months,
What?
at the age of 9 months, because that's when you come out,
What do you mean when you die at the age of
you're not scared of dying because you're now a baby, so you don't know what's going on anyway. So there's no fear.
So you've missed out a bit here. So this woman, what, literally gets younger and younger?
I think when she's in her 20s, she's in her old age, Rick.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because that's the fun part of your life, isn't it? When you're 20 and you've got all your energy and that. So before you die, you're actually having a good life rather than it being the other way around.
But does she do different stuff than she did on the way up? Because she's already lived 78 years, hasn't she? Don't forget. She was a baby once, and she grew to 78 years. Then someone stuck a needle in her head and said, "Right, back you go."
No, we'll forget all that bit.
Forget all that bit. How do we forget that bit?
What I'm saying
So
is...
she died and she doesn't remember all her... This is a new life, is it?
Let me just leave you with this.
Right, you're talking shit. Explain yourself.
But aren't the family getting younger as well? What's happened to the family?
Forget it then, we'll leave it as it is.
No, leave it as it is, shall we?
Can we all agree on that, guys, now? Should we agree to leave it as it is? Is that all right? Because I don't want to hear any more from the diaries of Charles Manson.
No, it's I mean, you're a fucking maniac.
A friend of mine got a gift, or rather gave it as a gift. I don't know if you've been familiar with these. It's a charity organisation, and you go on their website or you phone them up, and you can give someone else the gift of, say, a goat. And it's a sort of goodwill thing, you know what I mean?
So you buy an African family a goat
that will help them for years.
And it's like you're saying, well, I would have bought you a present.
Yeah, but I've used that money wisely.
Yeah, so it's almost like they've given
exactly
the present. They've given the goat.
Yeah, it's a beautiful idea. But as soon as he told me about it, I thought to myself straight away, knowing Karl's views on charity and giving, I wondered what his views would be.
Well, are they happy with the present over there? Like the people who are getting it?
You're an idiot. What, you think an African family wakes up and there's a little goat with a ribbon tied round it, and they go, "Oh, look what Santa brought us."
Look, and that mince pie's gone on that glass of milk.
You're such an idiot.
No, but what I'm saying is, does that family want a goat?
Yes.
But why?
It's not they want a goat, it's they need a goat. Do you think... What do you think this organisation is?
Just arbitrarily giving goats to people.
They're going to say, "Oh, I wanted Nintendo." What are you thinking?
Well, what I'm saying is, right, let me put myself in their shoes. Well,
this will be a first.
Got any, but say I'm one of them, right, over there. Right, I'm sat there, it's Christmas Day, right? I open it up, open the present, little goat there, right? Now, if I was one of them, I'd be going, not another mouth to feed. At the end of the day, there isn't enough food to go around for themselves, never mind a goat. Don't they say, like, having a dog and that is quite expensive? Sometimes they say, what with all the injections you've got to give it.
Well, I'm assuming it's all above board. The goat's had its injections. That's what some of the money goes towards. It's just a way of redirecting cash.
But the thing is, why do they want that goat? What's the main reason? What does a goat give you?
Milk.
Right. Now, wouldn't it be easy to just send them a bottle of milk? Without all the hassle and the headaches that come with it. That's all I'm saying. And the other thing is, think about the goat. That was happy over here. Suddenly, it's on barren land. No grass.
I'm gonna burst! What do you mean?
You didn't send a goat from here.
I'm saying, who's happy at the end of this, right? You've got a fella who hasn't got a present over here because the mate bought him a goat, right? So yeah, let's do this properly. So there's a tick. He's not happy, right? Then you've got the person who's opened it, who, like you said, wanted something else, right? It's a goat. They go, who's going to look after this, right? So tick, they're not happy. And then you've got the goat going, what am I doing here?
Definitely love this, surely. Have you started seeing this now? Virgin are starting plugging Virgin Galactic. I think it's something like 200,000 quid, and you'll get a chance to go in a space shuttle into space.
Karl, thoughts?
Going to space?
Wouldn't it be a fascinating experience to go into space and look back at the Earth?
I mean, at what point are you all meant to be happy? Do you know what I mean? You're floating about up there, and because you don't get out, do you?
What, you mean to do some duty-free shopping?
I'm just talking, you don't go floating about, do you? You stay in your seat.
Well, they probably let you move around on the shuttle.
Yeah, no, but I'm talking about getting out. For me, when you go on
you want
holiday...
to get out into space?
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. When you go on holiday, the flight bit isn't the best bit of the holiday, is it? That's the bit you've got to do. So what I'm saying is you've got to stay on this and then you go back home. So you don't take luggage, right? I don't see the point.
Right, so you're there, you're sat in your own clothes for the whole time, same clothes the whole time.
But I don't understand what is the point.
I think it's the view. I think it's two things. I think it's the view and being able to be part of an exclusive club. I went into space. It's all that thing about man conquering nature, and you're one of that elite few that have managed to pop up, see the world from a distance that no one else can see it from, and then pop down.
All that way just for the view.
Yeah.
Is it worth it? I mean, there's a lot of other places I haven't seen anyway, right, before I think about that. I think if you've done everywhere... I haven't been to Scotland yet, right?
Right, yeah.
I'm not being funny, but do you know what I mean? So just have a look in your back garden before you go looking in someone else's.
In space.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would make it a trip worthwhile for you? I mean, if you did go into space, if we gave it to you free of charge, we said, Karl, go up into
I know
space.
the answer. I know the answer to this, Steve. He's thinking, I'd like to meet some aliens that can talk like I do,
Yeah.
and I can understand them, and they can tell me something. Like what? Oh, they met God, he was all right. That's the sort of thing, that's what he's going to say. He'd like them to look like monkeys in spacesuits.
Yeah.
That would be his ideal thing. He'd like to go to the planet of the
He'd like to go to
apes.
the planet of the apes.
He would
Absolutely.
love
They
to
could
go
arrange
to
that.
Look, he's nodding. He's
Yeah.
nodding. Thoughts, Karl?
Well, yeah, that'd be brilliant.
What would be brilliant?
Seeing a little alien and that, having a chat with him, find out what's been going on.
What's been going on?
No. But don't you think that... Like, I mean, if you bought me that as a present, right,
Yeah.
either of you,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be that happy. For me, that's a little bit like...
Well, that's annoying because we've got you a trip
We
to
just
space
pulled
and
together.
a goat.
Yeah.
Do you know how, like, I am interested in sort of going on another planet, right? Not,
Karl, you are on another planet, mate.
no, but do you know what I mean? It would be quite sort of interesting.
How do you think you'd get there?
Well, yeah, you'd go on a rocket and stuff, but what I'm saying is, at least you know when you get there, you're getting out, you're having a bit of a wander. But I wouldn't be happy in just the journey bit of it. That's all I'm saying.
That's great, isn't it?
But the thing is, right, because I was looking into it a bit, because I was reading about the Virgin Atlantic
Yeah.
thing, right? And I was reading something that in 1971, right, 3 of them went up there. There was one bloke in the rocket, right? The other 2 wandered off, had a walkabout, seeing what rocks they can find. And that bloke who was in the rocket, right, he was the loneliest man ever in the world.
I don't know what to do. What that was. I don't know what to do. I don't know if that's some sort of profound poetry or I don't. Do you know what I think he's trying to say? He's trying to say he was, by definition, a human furthest away from all other human contact.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I said.
Yeah, okay. No, you said loneliest. Loneliest evokes an emotion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like he started crying and writing poetry and listening to Morrissey records.
But what I was thinking is, do you think when he got up in the morning, he still bothered to put his clothes on?
That's the first thing that came into your mind
No,
when
just
you
because
pictured him
I
in
always,
there.
you know, at the end of the day, even if, like, my girlfriend Suzanne's out at work and that, I'm not happy walking about with everything out, because you never know what's going to happen. I just mean, you never know if someone's going to turn up.
No, I don't like what I don't like. No, I always pop some pants on or a towel, even if I'm
not
alone.
always. Because I've knocked on your door when you've been stood there with...
No, he's
Yeah,
taking
but
his trousers off.
No, I
when
did
he
it
comes to the door.
especially
Oh,
knowing
right.
that you were there. I've done it especially to annoy you.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so.
But do you know what I mean? Do you think he was walking about the rocket with his tackle out, or did he
floating
go,
about, yeah.
well, no one's watching here?
Do
Do you
you
know
reckon
what I
it floats up or down?
Well, if you are the man who was up in a space rocket and was for a short period the loneliest man in the world, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear what you did with your time, how lonely you felt, and also
Lonely?
did you float around with your cock and balls out? Karl, if you could have a superpower like Superman, what would your superpower be?
Can I suggest consciousness?
Yeah.
Can I have the power of thought?
Remember, you've already got opposable thumbs. So cross that one off the list.
Oh, go on, Karl.
There are so many to choose from. Telepathy, X-ray vision.
Flight, invisibility,
Choose it wisely.
strength, intelligence.
But why have I been picked?
Oh, for God's sake!
No, but I'm just saying...
It's
I'd say,
Rob's question
no,
for
no,
you.
But I'd just say, does anyone else want this? Or, do you know what I mean?
Oh,
No,
what do you
because-
wish you
no,
could do that's
no,
impossible is
because-
the question.
no, because-
What? What do you mean?
Because with that comes a responsibility. Is what
With
I'm saying.
enormous power does come great responsibility.
So, would you like Spidey senses? Is that what you're saying?
Come on, Karl, you know what these superheroes, because they can.
I know, but it
they can
always
freeze things.
They're never
they-
happy, are they? Do you know what I mean? Spider-Man that wanted to tell that girl that he could climb walls and that. He's like, I can't. Superman never told Lewis and that.
Who's Lewis? Who's Lewis?
Lewis.
Who's Lewis?
It's just a pen pal, Superman.
Lewis, his little secret chum. Yeah. All right, Superman. Hello, Lewis. What are you doing? Superman. Who are you? I can't tell you, Lewis. Brilliant.
You know, Hulk. He wasn't happy.
Oh, he wasn't happy. It's true. He's got a theme. He has got a theme. There's not many happy superheroes, are
But
there?
leaving aside the superheroes you're already aware of,
Yeah.
what superpowers do you want? You don't have to fight crime with it, Karl. Let me remind you of some of the other things. Invisibility.
All the time, though, or can I sort of turn that on and off?
Let's say you could turn it on and off. Would that interest you?
Yeah. I'll have that.
Right. Okay, and what would you do with this power of invisibility?
Just sort of wander about and that, just not get seen.
It's a brilliant power. It's a brilliant. And it's put to such brilliant use. It's brilliant. Well done.
And why would you want to walk around and not be seen in that? What would you gain from that?
Don't know. You could sort of go in shops when they're shut, so you don't have to go. with
How would
the
you get
crowds.
in?
Just get in just before they lock up.
Oh yeah. How would you get out?
Wait till the morning.
Brilliant.
So hang on. So that's your use of invisibility. They found the power of invisibility. And you want to sneak into. Never mind. No, hang on. You want to sneak into HMV, right? Wait for 12 hours and then buy something,
I love it.
just so that you don't have to be in there with other people.
Do you know what? I don't want it. I don't want a power
Why not?
because I just don't think it'll do me any good. I think it's more of a hindrance.
I love this. It's like, just think of his presence. We've given you a trip into space, and the chance to be invisible.
Not happy with any of them.
Yeah. What he wants is a voucher for HMV.
Yeah. He just wants some tokens for a record shop. Just going through a few more of these emails. This one's from Kent from Nova Scotia, Canada. He says, Karl, he's wondering if you've got any personal mantras that you could pass along. For instance, he reminds us of Ben Franklin's famous mantra, waste not, want not.
Who said that?
Ben Franklin.
What was he? What did he do? What was his job?
Benjamin Franklin was a well-respected American politician from the 1800s. He was a sort of thinker, a philosopher, a
experiments.
scientist, deeply respected. Also
on
a big
money.
political figure. He features on
He's
the
on a
dollar bill, the
yeah.
$10 bill or something.
Yeah.
So he's one of the great sort of American Enlightenment thinkers. And he came up with the mantra, waste not, want not.
You must know waste not, want not. I mean, that's just...
Do you
I-
understand
I-
the phrase waste not, want not?
No, not really. No. What does it mean? I've never used it.
It's like, don't throw stuff away because you might need it, and therefore you won't be wanting anything because you didn't throw it away.
So he was a bit of a
Well,
hoarder.
if you don't waste food, for instance, then you
He's a
won't...
bit of a hoarder.
For God's sake.
No, but I'm just saying, you know, he's a man in power. Is that the best thing he ever said?
No, I'm sure he came up with many, many profound
So why
things.
is that one
He did
remembered?
experiments in electricity and conducting electricity, all sorts.
But that impresses me more, inventing electricity, than someone...
He didn't
just-
invent electricity.
Wait a minute! Don't impress you more than what?
Just saying, waste not, want not. I don't think it's that good. It's not even catchy.
How would you word it?
I'd just say, whoa, don't be chucking that out. You might need that later.
Don't be chucking that out. You might need that later. Karl Pilkington.
Whereas some would argue
2005.
that waste not, want not is perhaps a little bit more pithy, a little bit more...
We should go through great sayings and phrases and say
See if he
Karl-
could, well, firstly,
Yeah.
does he know what they mean? And then secondly, can he improve them?
That would be brilliant.
Right, we'll do that next
every
time.
week.
So, all right, let's see. Okay, Winston Churchill. Never have so few done so much for so many. What do you think of that? How would you... Do you know what that means?
I'd just be annoyed if I was one of them who gave a lot for a few or whatever, right?
No, gave a lot for so many. If you were one of those few that gave so much for so many, i.e., it means these few good men, their actions freed the world. They freed the world. They have an impact on every person in the world, and they were few brave men, and that's what he's saying.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if I was one of them men who gave up his life, right, I'd want a name check. I don't want to be bungled in with everyone else who is saying a load of blokes gave it their lives. Well done on that. See you later.
That's brilliant.
Did you just say bungled in?
Yeah, bungled in, yeah.
You made up a word.
I don't want to be bungled in.
You made up a word. See, that's it, you see. We've been looking for it. That's original. That's Karl Pilkington. I don't want to be bungled in.
Right, do you know we've chatted about charities before, haven't we?
Sure. Yeah.
Done a lot of stuff on that, right? I was coming back from Manchester, right? Got off the train at Euston.
Yeah.
Right? Off the train, walking through the busy bit and stuff. There's this fella stood there, right? Good charity worker.
Yeah.
Right? Nice looking fella. He's got his suit on, the tie and everything, quite respectable and that, right? Look down at his bucket. All money's been put in the bucket and that, right? On the front of the bucket, right? It says collecting for the homeless at Christmas. Now, why can't they do that?
What, the homeless?
The homeless people. Why is some fella taking his time out, right? His own time where he could be at home. Why?
Some of us have got homes to go to.
Yeah.
Why? Do you know what I mean?
What, do you think just give them the buckets?
Well, what are the homeless people doing whilst he's doing that? Is what I'm saying. What have they got on the timetable?
Cut out the middleman. Cut out the middleman.
What would prevent a homeless person and an entrepreneurial or homeless person just getting a bucket and writing that on there themselves?
Could I suggest something? Hunger, some drug addiction, traumas, often mental illness. Just possibly too depressed to get up, put a suit on and go to Euston Station with a nice bucket with some writing on it.
And then, right, I was thinking about that, right, and I was walking down the street in London with Suzanne. Saw a little homeless. Well, I didn't see the homeless bloke, right? I saw a leg,
Right.
sticking out of a doorway. Thought, here we go, right? Walked past it, right? You're not going to believe this.
Go on.
Homeless
Yeah.
Chinese fella. I've never seen one of them. No, I'm not having a go, right? But have you ever seen? Do you know what I mean? That was a shock.
I
to me.
really don't think I have. I think he's got me there. I hate to say it, but I must say I can't remember ever seeing a homeless Chinese person.
Weird, isn't it?
I don't know.
Literally said, I was walked past and I said to Suzanne, "Did you see that?" She went, "What?" I said, "Just look back there." She said, "What?" I said, "That homeless fella. Look back at him." She said, "What?" I said, "He's Chinese." And she said, "Yeah, good point."
Good point. Of course she did.
She said that to shut you up.
She didn't want to get into a conversation with you. I got a text from Karl yesterday, Steve.
A text from Karl, yeah.
Yeah. I'll just read it to you. Okay. See you to Moz for a face rub at 6:30 then. No bum tubes, though. So I was intrigued, and I called Karl and said, "I think you've just sent me a text by mistake." What's the explanation of that?
My mate, right, Russell, he said, you know, there's things that go on in life that you need to experience.
Yeah.
He said, just pop along. And I didn't say yes straight away.
What's a face rub? You mean a facial? Where you lay down...
You just clean your face with a flannel and that.
So
but
you're going to go lie down with another man and have your face
well,
filled
no,
with
this is what I was saying to him. There's a couple of questions. I didn't just say yes straight away. I questioned it. I said, well, I'm not that happy with this. So I said, look, there's nothing weird going on here, is there? I said, it's not a house, is it? It's a proper clinic and that. He said, yeah, it's proper. You wear a dressing gown and that. I said, well, I'm not that
So
happy
he's
with
already
that.
got you in the dressing gown?
Yeah, well, I haven't agreed to that. Today I've worn a little round polar neck sort of jumper so I don't have to take it off. It's not going to get in the way of my face. I made sure I didn't wear a shirt with a collar. I'm not taking this off. They can put the dressing gown on top of this.
Right.
I don't know if it's a woman who rubs my head. Don't know if it's a bloke or whatever.
Well, the thing is, you get extra, don't you, for your face rub, because your face goes all the way back over the top of your head down to the back of your neck.
But all I was,
so you've got a big face, haven't you?
All I was saying to him is, I'll have the face rub, but I don't know if once you're in there,
Right.
they try and sell you the old... the bum tube thing.
What's a bum tube? Is that a euphemism? What are you talking about?
The thing where they pop a tube in and put coffee in your belly and it cleans you out and that.
An enema? Why would you have that?
I don't want it. I don't think
Why
you
not?
need to. Just because I think I've said to you before about, you know, you don't need to be that clean inside. Do you know what I mean? I don't mind washing my face. But what occasion do you need where you're that cleaned out? Do you know what I mean? And it's always a clear tube and that, and you see all the stuff whizzing past. I don't understand why it's clear. I don't know why you've got to see what's coming out of you. Like it's, like the generation game, making notes of what's whizzing past. Forget it.
I was watching some different TV, saw an amazing documentary. It was called Tribes. This guy, and he goes and lives with different tribes around the world, these small little indigenous people. And there was one, he went to Papua New Guinea in Indonesia, right, Karl? He lived with the Kombai tribe. All right. Now, this Papua New Guinea is an extraordinary place because it is one of the only places left on Earth that hasn't been fully explored. There are parts of it that it's just blank on the map because they've never explored there. They don't know what's there. They don't know what's going on. So, firstly, that must already freak you out. Imagine that. 21st century, they have no idea what's going on down there.
But do they need to know if there's nothing going on?
Well, they don't know what's going on. There could be stuff going on.
No, but there's no chance that they'll go, we haven't been over there, and someone goes and there's like an Arndale centre. Nothing's going to be there, is it? So there's no...
Well,
no
I'll tell you
point.
what is there, okay? There's these various small tribes. Some of these tribes are still cannibals, eating people from other tribes.
Do they know they could move on? Have they got a telly? Or have they seen a telly and gone, I'm not up for that? Or are they saying...
It's not the Amish.
They haven't chosen
But what
this.
is the difference between the Amish and these people?
Well, the Amish are a group of people that choose to live in that way. These people are just essentially untouched by civilization. I mean, they do have interaction with civilization and people do come there, but they still live in this very, very almost prehistoric way.
They did buy a telly, but there was nothing on because there isn't any broadcasters.
They couldn't plug it in.
Yeah.
They're having an absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
But there was one guy, okay, now he said that his brother was dying. This was a couple of years ago, right? His brother was dying. He said to his dying brother, what happened? Why are you dying? This guy said, it was a bloke in another village. Okay, he goes over to the other village. He kills this other bloke, right? He eats him, or eats bits of him. The other village gets a bit annoyed. They go, what's going on? Why did you kill this bloke? He went, sorry about that, right? They said, well, you need to make it up to us. He gave him a pig. They said, a pig's not enough. They gave him 5 pigs, so 5 pigs apparently made up for the fact that they'd killed one of them. They said, well, hang on, what are you going to do with this bloke's wife?
Why were they bartering? Why didn't they just get the police in and say, what's going on?
What police?
Yeah. Why didn't they call in Kojak? Because he'd have sorted it out, wouldn't he?
What I mean is, right, they're miles away from anything, but it doesn't sound like the great place to live, right? Could they not move? Could one of them go, do you know what, I'm sick of this. I'm moving or whatever and go to a proper city. How far away is this? These Papa people to the next?
They're like the Smurfs. They're very like the Smurfs.
But how many miles away from a place with a normal life going on?
But think about this, Karl. Firstly, they don't speak the language, so they don't have any practical skills. They've got no experience of civilization. So even if they chose to go and live in one of these cities, what can they do? How can they function?
I think there's some bacteria that has better lives than that.
That's got to be offensive.
Why?
Okay, how about this is one of the weirdest things. This is one of the weirdest things, right?
Sorry. An entire people, an entire race
Just
of
dismiss.
people.
Just dismiss.
I'm not having a go, but I'm just saying I wouldn't fancy it, is what I mean.
But they
You know what I
don't
mean? We're living
know
in
of
ice.
another world. How can they imagine that they could... Oh, I'll tell you what, this is boring. I'm tired of hunting for food and eating fish from the river. I'll tell you what, I'd like a world where there's iPods and room service. I'm going to go and move to New York. They're not thinking like that, are they, Karl? Because they don't know about this other world.
People go to these places on holiday now. They like a little bit of danger. They like to see how the others live. So all I'm saying is we know they exist. The Papa people, maybe people aren't going there. It doesn't sound like the best place. I can't imagine it having a tourist board or anything, right? But would they accept me if I popped over there and, with Suzanne in Papa?
Well, okay, this is one of the things that they do, okay, which is a tradition you may have to do. These Kombai, right, they invert their penises. So they push their penises back up inside their bodies.
Like a sock.
What for?
Well,
Keeps it out of the way.
Of what?
Well, if you're running through the undergrowth chasing a hog, you don't want it flapping away,
But
it's also become a kind of ceremonial thing. So if you were over there, you may well have to try it yourself.
You would have to try it yourself. If you went there, you'd have to try it yourself.
But even cavemen had little pants on. Why haven't they?
Whoa!
Slow down.
Rewind.
What do you mean?
Again, you've been watching the Flintstones.
No, it's just, you know...
Is it a leopard skin pair of pants that's actually quite a... Go on.
But it's a well-known fact that they wore, like, bear pants or whatever.
Bear pants? What do you mean, bear pants? No, listen, you are a qualified anthropologist, so what...
I mean that, you know, whenever you see them on footage or in a museum...
Footage?
Yeah.
Or,
Whenever you see that
Well,
early
it's a bit
documentary
shaky,
footage.
it's black and white as well, isn't it? Caveman footage.
You always see them wearing a little bit of fur little pants and that. So what I'm saying is, even though... What year is it to these people in the woods?
I don't know what this conversation is anymore. He's just clutching at straws. His mind, it's like a fly, his mind, isn't it? It's just buzzing round, it's trying to find a window. It is just
It's hitting against pieces of information, but then just bouncing off.
Yeah.
Dazed, perplexed.
Forget it then.
I was shopping with Karl before Christmas, and we went round sort of Piccadilly and St James's and those really beautiful shops around there. And I went in one shop. You had to ring a bell to enter.
Yeah.
They came down, and it's like a iconoclastic sort of shop, and they found things from churches and nearly all Russian 16th century pieces onwards. This beautiful carvings and paintings and statues. And I went, oh, it's beautiful. And as I was looking round, I heard Karl sidle up to the bloke and go, "What's the newest thing you've got here?"
Yeah. Sure, that's his first thought.
I mean, that is the wrong question to ask of a man who's clearly in antiques.
Yeah.
Proud of the fact he's got 16th century iconoclastic Russian stuff, to ask, "What's the newest thing you've got here?" What sort of question is that? Oh, I don't know, probably the doorbell. I don't know, what does he want to say with my shirt? What were you thinking?
hoping for?
I think it's an all right question, because he was saying there's loads of old stuff in there, and he kept going on about the old stuff. So what did to say? Well, what's the newest thing you've got?
And what was
Do you know what he
newest
said
thing?
to it? The other question he asked him? He said, "How often do you get new stuff in?" And I said to him, "Why did you ask that?" He said, "Well, I was thinking, if you got antiques and you sell it all, what's left?" Like someone's going to sell all the antiques in the world because they're not because they're not making any new stuff. What does that mean? They're not making any new stuff.
But I know for a fact no one's ever going to go in there and buy the lot anyway. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. I'm not at any point in my life, and I don't think it'll ever happen, will I go, "I need some old Russian wood." Because
It was brilliant.
No,
it was, Steve.
no.
It was beautiful. It's amazing stuff. There's stuff. There's these things from the 16th century of sort of like saints and monks, and they're carved
But
and they're.
there's loads of it. It's just all piled up. No one's interested. If I was him, I'd go, "Do you know what? I'm into this, but no one else is. Close shop." Because seriously, it's just piled up, piles upon piles of like old bits of wood with pictures on it and that.
But
There was
think
one
of a
fella,
man. Just think of a man 400 years ago that carved this.
No, but nobody wants it, do they? I've never heard anyone say, you know, "Oh, look, it's my birthday coming up. I'll tell you what I'd love.
What?
Bit of old Russian wood." It doesn't happen. That's what I'm saying. I've never heard anyone saying it. Like, I've never overheard someone saying, "You don't know where the Russian shop is, do you?" And this is in London, where the rates are high. There was this thing, right, Steve? Them old drawings on, like...
It was like a panel from a church that someone had painted,
right, yeah.
and I think it was like, you know, from sort of like 1590 or something.
Yeah.
And it was this a picture of this this saint, wasn't it?
said 1590. It could be from any time, really. So there's this one there, right, leaning up against the wall, and most of them in there was that Stalin bloke, right? But there was this little...
Right, can I just stop with there? Lenin.
Right,
Okay.
all right then.
Yeah.
So he was on all these bits of wood and stuff, but I saw this other little face, right, little fella with a beard, right? So I said, "Who's this bloke here?" He said, "Oh, the story there, right?" He said, "It's this little fella, and he got mugged back in Russia." This is right, isn't it? This is what he was saying. He said he got mugged.
It's just that term. I love that term in a 16th century Russian wood. Oh no, I'm being mugged.
So he got mugged.
He got
and that.
happy slapped.
And he said, "I've had enough of this," right?
Yeah.
And he went to live in the woods, right? Made like a little shed, stayed there. People went to visit him, and like, if you got a problem, you knock on his door and you go, "Oh, I'm sick of it," and he'll sort of say, "Yeah, I know what you mean. I've moved out of the city and what have you," and he'd make them feel better, and then they go again. Now, why has that man got a plaque? If he was around now, there's no way he'd have a bit of wood with his face on it, is what I'm saying. If someone had got fed up with living in London or New York or whatever, and they go, "I'm going to go and live in the woods," people wouldn't visit him, and he won't get a piece of wood with his face on, is what I'm saying. But this man is selling it for about, I think it was about 750 quid for this bloke's head.
But the chances are that this is either a well-known Russian folktale, or it may even be a piece of classic Russian
He's
literature.
a saint. He was a saint. He was
well, in which
canonised.
case
Yeah.
it's-
But everybody was a saint years ago. That seems to be, like, thrown about, doesn't it? Who's a saint now? Name him one now. Yeah, this fella lived in the woods in a hut. Oh, yeah, that's Saint John or whatever. He's not a saint. He's done nothing. If anything, he's sort of said, I can't be bothered with living in a city with everyone else. Everyone else has got to put up with it, but I can't put up with it. I'm going to live in the woods. Well, if you can't put up with it, you're not good enough, are you? You've got no stamina. And yet he gets a plaque, is what I'm saying. It's annoying.
Who would you like to
art.
see get a plaque in the modern world? Who deserves a plaque, in your opinion?
Probably like nurses and that who do a lot of bad things that I think I couldn't do that, carrying lungs about and all that. No, but I couldn't do. Do you know what I mean? That's one job that my mum wanted me to be a doctor.
Whoa! What was she thinking? Oh, what's her expectations
This particular
like
apple
now?
didn't fall far from the tree.
Oh, when did she start giving up that dream? At what age did she start going, Karl, you don't need to study your books anymore. Go and play with the worms in the garden. When did she sort of like let you off that
Is
dream?
it the day that she caught you with a spoon up your nose?
But anyway, talking of emails and that, right? Nick, who's emailed from Australia, right, Melbourne, he's been going on about dolphins and that, problems with dolphins.
What problems?
He's just saying when that wind happened, there was like a bad wind thing going on.
Hold on, wait a minute. What bad wind?
In America, they had that.
Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah.
Right.
And there was like a little bay with dolphins in it, and
Right.
that, with all guns on them and stuff.
Whoa.
Because they use dolphins, don't they? They say they're an intelligent animal and stuff.
Yeah.
And they've got them all like, they've all had the training. They're all like ready for battle and stuff.
Right.
Got like rifles on them.
What do you mean rifles?
They've
How can they hold a
weapons,
rifle? How can they hold a rifle?
No, it's sort of on a strap and that.
What do you mean it's on a strap?
I don't know what they kit them out with, but they're just ready for war. Whenever
What
it
are
kicks
you
off.
talking about?
Listen, though, that isn't the point. Don't worry about it.
Oh, we leave
But what
that
I'm
one, do
saying
we?
is-
That's not the point, so let's leave it.
So they're swimming about. and that,
Yeah,
in this
with
little bay.
rifles and berets.
Whatever they've got on.
Yeah.
right, ready for battle and stuff.
Yeah, ready for battle, yeah.
The wind comes in.
The wind comes in.
Hurricane
Yeah.
Katrina.
Makes a wave and that. They get out of the little bay,
Yeah.
still all kitted out with all the, weapons.
You're talking
and that.
bollocks.
Steve, do you want to look at the email?
Well,
mate?
there's no way. There's loads of dolphins now swimming round, kitted out
Causing
with
problems.
guns and that, with a strap. How can a dolphin hold a... Again, you've been watching Planet of the Apes. Oh, he's trying to talk to us. What's he saying? He's saying, go ahead, punk, make my day.
Look,
You're
I'm just-
talking shit.
It's just news to say if there's dolphins, if you see a dolphin in that, don't go, oh, it's friendly, because there's some with weapons now. So I'm just reading it out on email. That'll cover it and that. So
Bollocks. We've got a little email straight away, Karl, from Nikki in Beverly Hills, California. She says, Karl, you rock. I hate it when Ricky and Steve ridicule you. I checked out your picture. Although your head is not normal, that's no reason to ridicule you. You look gimp, but I never judge a book by the cover.
cheers.
That's all you've got to say.
Well, it's only because I've got no hair though, isn't it? That's why it gives that effect.
No, it's perfectly round your head. It's perfectly spherical head. Your face is slightly too big for it. It almost goes over the sides. Perfectly round head. Pug little nose, funny gimp eyes with no expression, hangdog look, like a little mouth, like a little lamprey, not formed, not human formed. The way your expression is like you've had a lobotomy. Your head goes weird at the back. It's got a little nod in it, like it's really strange, your face, and you're stupid.
We've had a lot of emails saying that. I mean, I think he's just paraphrasing, but... talking of emails, a couple of... I can't remember which show it was, but you mentioned, Karl, that you'd only recently seen a Chinese homeless person.
Oh, yeah.
And it really surprised you because you'd never seen
I've
a
never
Chinese
seen one
homeless
before,
person.
no.
And I actually went along with that. I've still never seen a Chinese homeless person.
Well, now, I can just tell you now that there's a few responses from Los Angeles, people saying there are quite a lot of Chinese homeless people over there because apparently there's a huge homeless community in Los Angeles. So definitely if you want to see them, Karl, that's the place to go. But we've had one from Vancouver, Canada, from a girl called Amy, and Amy herself is Chinese, and she says that she realised herself that she'd never really seen a Chinese homeless person. And although she says that apparently Vancouver has the first or second largest Chinese population in Canada, she'd never seen them, and she actually went for a walk around the Chinatown in her area looking for them, and she could not find any on that particular day. So again, Canada obviously not a place to go for a Chinese homeless.
It was just a point, though. I don't want people sort of...
Well, hold on, though. Wait, I'll stop you there. Hello, Ricky, Steve and Karl. I live in New York City and have seen a Chinese homeless person. Not only is he Chinese, but he is also a midget. He's been living on the streets for the last 30 years. He used to dress in rags, but thanks to a coat drive, he's now wearing a fancy Adidas jacket, right? Now he encloses a picture. He says he gave him $10 to take the picture, and I've seen it, and he's a little Chinese midget fella.
I'm just getting a bit worried that people are going out there sort of looking for these. Because they, you know,
well, that's what you requested.
No. But all I was saying is, I saw one. I didn't start saying, "Excuse me, can you just give us a smile? I'm taking your picture." Do you know
we've
what I
had
mean?
loads of pictures of people.
I know, and it worries me a little bit. And I mean, it's not too bad about the one who took one of the little midget one, because you know, if he kicked off, it'd be quite easy to sort of hold him back. But I'm talking about fully grown.
So is that your warning to people? Don't be taking pictures of fully grown Chinese homeless.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, you know, don't be messing about going up to strangers and that and annoying them and stuff, right? Maybe
Well, I think that's a good rule of thumb. Don't annoy them. But I mean, but that is a hell of a sighting, isn't it? We asked for a Chinese homeless, and they gave us a Chinese midget homeless.
Many of the listeners are aware, Karl, that you're sort of fascinated by smaller people.
Well, he's fascinated by difference, I think.
Yes.
I don't think he's having a go at people. You're not
Never having a go.
when you sort of stare at someone because they don't look like you, and let's face it, most people don't look like you. You're not having a go, are you?
Well, it's like I say, for the time I saw Steve, I was never having a go. It was just, oh, that's different. But you know, like you know, Steve, I was never having a go. It's just that thing of, oh, right, interesting.
What do you mean?
No, just you know, I've said before about I've got used to it, and
Steve
it's the
got
same.
used to it. What
I don't know. Well, you know my feeling with this. I don't really know where he's coming from.
But Steve knows I'm not having a go either.
Yeah.
Karl used to carry around a book that was called the Top 50 Freaks of All Time.
Well, it's interesting you should mention that, because we actually had an email from Richie who says that he's been a fan of ours for many years and he's listened to lots of the radio shows we've done in the past and things. And he says of all the people you've discussed, Karl, in the past, including some of the people from your you know, odd magazines, who would you most like to spend the day with of all those people that you've encountered?
Favourite of all.
Well, certainly who you would want to spend time with, who you feel would be the most fascinating, the most interesting. You know, I mean, let's just recap on some of the...
Pillow Man, the bloke with no arms, no legs that can roll a cigarette with his mouth.
Yeah.
No, not impressed with him.
That's not sufficient.
What about the three-legged juggler?
So hang on, let's just recap. This was a man with 3 legs?
3 legs, right?
Right.
And it said his job, he became a juggler.
Okay.
Not using the gift that he'd been given.
What you suggest?
Anything, running, swimmer, just you know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
What
what
else
are the
was
others? What are the other ones?
There was a picture of a gentleman you were fascinated by him. He used to play the piano.
Oh, he's got a tiny head, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's that. That's the one who he sort of ages fast.
Right.
So like every other week he's having a birthday and stuff. And yeah, that was weird.
He's not having a birthday every other week. His body's just aged, so it has the appearance. His biology is sort of like he's 70, but he's only like 15. They don't have a birthday every week. You idiot.
But yeah, I don't know about knocking about with one at a long time though. That's
Only for a day?
suppose it depends what I'm up to. Because if we're going out and about, the Pillow Man would just be a bit of a drag.
Whereas if you're going for a walk across, the 3-legged guy, ideal.
So yeah.
Oh. Lots and lots of people emailing just with questions for Karl. Just a couple of quick ones for you, Karl. Wendy says, if Karl had to eat the same dinner every day for the rest of his life, what would he eat?
You see, it depends, doesn't it? I mainly eat just so I keep going. I'm not that bothered about, because I don't really taste it anyway. I just shove it down.
You're like a horse?
I mean, to be honest, it annoys me the way people worry about food now and how there's so much to choose from. I think it's got out of hand. I'll watch...
Any form of choice really worries you, doesn't it?
No,
you
it's
don't
just-
like choice.
No, choice is good, but not too much. It's like with anything now, if you go into a toffee shop, there's like loads of
Sorry?
different...
Where are you going to find a toffee
So
shop?
you're in a fairy tale.
You're in a Dickens tale in the 19th century.
You're in Shrek. And
You go into a toffee shop. What are you
What's your
doing?
point? You go into a toffee shop.
What I'm saying, you go into a shop full of toffees.
You just come from the candlestick maker.
right? You go in there and there's just too much choice. It's like what, and I can stand there up to like 4 minutes, sort of going
Up to 4 minutes.
So specific.
4
So
minutes.
he's in a toffee shop in a top hat.
Well, he's only got 4
going-
minutes. He's only got 4 minutes because you've got to get down to the pea green boat that he's sailing off in.
Yeah.
no.
Good
but,
morrow.
Well, forget the toffees.
Could I
then.
have some of your finest Oxfordshire toffees?
So you'd prefer it was just one selection of toffee, that's all they've got?
Well, maybe two. What I'm saying is, right, there's now too much choice. Whenever you get a menu in a restaurant, it's not like you don't just go, oh, right, what is there? Yeah, I'll have that. There's too much. It's like a book, isn't it? And you look at it all. And then you've got to that point now that people are even taking a risk when they're eating.
What do you mean?
You know, in Japan or China or something, they're eating that fish that if it's not cooked right, it can kill you, right? Not worth the risk, and there's so many other fish.
Yeah, I agree. Why
Have
are
mackerel, have a bit of cod or whatever.
Yeah,
As soon as there's a risk, take it off. Take it off the
I
menu.
agree. I totally agree.
Not worth it.
We've got a fish that might or might not kill you. Well, is there anything that definitely won't kill you? Yeah, but a chicken won't kill you.
I'll play safe then, I'll have that.
I love that. I love the chicken.
That's what I'm saying. But anyway, we were talking about sayings and that. Right? Stitching time saves 9. Don't. You know, I'm never going to use that. I don't think anyway. Okay. Suzanne.
You're
does
never
me-
going to understand it fully, are you?
Suzanne repairs me stuff anyway. So it doesn't really matter. But what about the one? About the one in greenhouses and that? Isn't that
People who
a
live
good
in glass houses shouldn't throw stones.
Well, I'm intrigued to know if he's fully got to grips with this. Just
Okay.
give us your explanation again of what you'd take that to mean.
Well, just don't be chucking stuff about. Really?
So, well, if that was it, they just say that.
No, but that saying's been around a lot longer than we think. That's when people probably did live in basic glass houses and stuff.
No, whoa,
What they mean now-
Who has ever lived in a glass house?
So cavemen went from rock to a nice crystal structure, did they? What are you talking about? When did people live in
Well,
glass
no,
houses?
what they mean now, when that saying's used now, they mean sort of, you know, plasma tellies, ornaments.
No, they don't.
They're saying don't chuck stuff about because
No,
you'll break it.
no, it's not about damaging your own property.
They don't mean you're inside the glass house throwing rocks inside your own glass
It's
house.
a metaphor. Carl, what is an analogy?
It's sort of like a little story told quickly. Isn't it?
It's
It
a
is,
little
isn't it?
story told quickly. To what end?
Well, it depends what the story is. You see, I just prefer sort of, you know, what you say is what you mean. So people who live in a glass house have to answer the door.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. I mean,
Because-
you may be a genius, because I don't get that. People who live in glass houses have to answer the door.
Okay, let's hear his explanation.
Because the people knocking at the door will be able to see you because it's a glass house.
But you have to add a number of other things, other caveats. Surely, if you live in a glass house, don't walk around naked.
Yeah.
If you live in it.
These are literals.
But just the idea that in your head there should be sayings for people who live in glass houses. Who is it that's living in a glass
No,
house?
well, I'm not talking about them. It's just that if everyone else is bringing up about these people who are living in glass houses, let's get to the real problems they've got.
He still hasn't got to grips with the idea of the
No, but it's-
metaphor or the simile.
Well, here's another saying, right, that I learnt recently from a mate, right? Oh, there's an elephant in the room.
Okay, I haven't heard that one, but explain it to me.
It's like how, you know, whenever we go out for something to eat or a drink or something, it's normally after about 5 minutes the sort of topic gets onto the shape of my head.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, it's interesting how, like, I'm the elephant in the room, right? Nobody's talking about it. You mention it once, suddenly it's the talk of the town. It's what I mean. Everybody starts joining in, going, well, yeah, it is round, but it does suit you. And these are people who I don't even know sometimes, and they're all dipping in. And that is an elephant in the room.
So you don't want people to discuss the shape of your head or the lack of hair. You would feel better. You would feel happier that they didn't mention that.
Sometimes I think it's better that it's out there. It's made me a stronger person, though. It's the same way, we were talking about religion and that. Samson Delilah, he got weaker without hair. Whereas with me, I think it's made me stronger.
But would you ever wear a wig?
Not really.
What was a long wig like Samson?
Well, the only time I wanted a wig was when I did jury duty once, wasn't it? And it was annoying that I was sat on the jury right in front of, these criminals, right? Everybody else has got disguises. The judges have them wigs on, right?
That's not disguises!
It is a disguise. That's a disguise. That's why judges wear them, right?
No! Well, then why did they print their name in the paper and have a picture? What do you mean it's a disguise?
It's a disguise, isn't it?
No! If it was a disguise, they'd go in with one of those glasses with a nose and the beard attached if it was a disguise. All judges would look like Groucho Marx if it was a disguise.
Well, I'm just saying that's what annoyed me when I was sat there on the front row, right? I couldn't have been any closer to the criminals, right? I was sat there and I thought, why didn't I just pop a little wig on or a pair of glasses?
I would have loved to have seen you in the front row at Crown Court.
No, because
I'd love to see it because in this country you're not allowed to show pictures of jurors. You can't take photos in a courtroom, so there's always these sketch artists that draw drawings and it's on the news. The idea that we'd have seen 11 people and a sort of Krusty the Clown figure would have been amazing.
Yeah, I would love to see the artist do an interview because it would be like complicated people. Oh, hey, he looks characterful, and then just a little round
Charlie
head.
Brown.
Charlie Brown sitting on the end.
Karl, you said that your New Year's resolution was that you were going to learn something every day.
yeah,
Have you learned anything today?
If I can. Today, I don't know the full facts of it, but
Could I just say that when someone says they learn something new every day, that doesn't count if they forget it the next day.
no,
Because that'd be Groundhog Day learning.
well, the thing I learnt today was about an octopus.
Oh,
Go on.
What they can do is, they've got 8 legs and that.
Yeah.
They
Tentacles.
can use 6 of them legs to cover their head so they look like a little stone. And use the other 2 to run off. Right? But that's,
He's thinking of Squidly Diddly.
Yeah, it's a Disney image in his head, isn't
He's
it?
thinking
They're
of...
pink.
but anyway, but anyway, that's
So
that's
it's
not the
Pink
main
singing
thing.
a song in your mind and running off, yeah.
No, but anyway, but something else I learnt, right? It's mainly about animals and that because that's
Yeah.
normally quite interesting.
Yeah.
There's a chicken somewhere,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
Specific.
and the owner of it was getting fed up because, he had to feed it and that. But it
Embellishment,
wasn't
guesswork.
No, come on, let's hear it.
It wasn't giving anything back.
No eggs.
No eggs, right? So he was like, oh, I'm sick of this. Anyway, someone told him, pop a little axe next to its little house, right? So when it comes out in the morning thinking, oh, I'll have another lazy day doing nothing, right? He saw this axe and suddenly it was like, oh, right?
I'm
Next
for the
day,
chocolate thought, yeah.
it laid about 6 eggs.
It's rubbish.
Through
Squeeze them
worry.
out.
It's
super
rubbish.
quick.
A chicken wouldn't recognise an axe as a threat. It wouldn't be able to reason that I better start working or I'll be meat. I better start. It's absolute rubbish. Once again, it's this ridiculous thing you got that one personifying animals to reasoning powers better than yours. I mean, I think you make chickens and monkeys cleverer than you in your stories, which is weird. It didn't happen and wouldn't work. Next, what else haven't you learnt today?
Do you think then that it's worth looking after animals then if there isn't any memory? If they don't know what's happening anyway, you're always going on about don't be cruel to things.
Why would you ever want to be cruel to an animal, whether it can reason or not?
No. I mean, I don't mean really cruel, but I mean like there's an advert on that's on in the in Britain, advertising some supermarket, right? And it's saying, we look at before we kill our chickens and what have you. They have a great life. This is like the voiceover, and you see Happy Chicken.
Yeah.
And it's going, we give it a good little house to live in. It's got straw.
Yeah.
It eats good.
Yeah.
And then we kill it. Right?
Yes, well, that's better, isn't it?
Well, no, I don't think it is, though, is it? Because at the end of the day, if I was that chicken, right, I'm that chicken, loving my life. I can't believe me luck, right? It's got its nice little field that it's working on.
Yeah.
It's got its nice food and everything. But it's going to die.
Yeah, we're all going to die.
But then, if you were like a rubbish chicken, that had like a rubbish life, you'd be going, oh, kill me.
Carl, they're not thinking what's going to happen tomorrow.
They don't know that they're going to get for the chop, are they?
a chicken's not going, I'm fed up with this. I can't wait for that axe to be used on my neck.
Yeah. Well, that's another... now you've mentioned the cutting off of an head, right?
Yeah.
On the chicken. That's something else I've learned, right?
It's like a pinball is mine.
Amazing.
Isn't it? Ding dong, bong, dang, ding, ding, da, da. Oh, head, ding, ding, chicken, head off, bing, doing.
No, right, but this was in a proper science magazine as well. Right?
Yeah.
So you can't have a go. This wasn't something on the internet. This was printed in a magazine.
You read it.
Okay, and what was it?
And here comes the filter. It's going to come out nonsense.
Right, well...
You could have Professor Stephen Hawking sitting there whispering stuff in your ear, and it could all be true. But when you said it, gobbledygook.
Well, let's see then. Let's see, right? What they've done another experiment, right?
Yeah.
They've cut somebody's head off, right? And they've worked out that when the head comes off the body, it stays alive and that
No.
for 30 seconds.
Well, no, they don't know that. They can never know that.
No, they did it. They did this experiment.
What's alive? What's alive? But there's loads of issues here. One, no one's experimenting with human beings cutting their head off, Karl.
Well,
two, no.
So you read this in what? Executioner's Monthly?
This is in
No,
a
two,
proper...
Karl, it's what your definition of alive is. Because you can be alive and have no conscience.
No, but this is where it gets weird, right?
Yeah,
I haven't told you that.
this is where it gets weird. You talking about it.
So the head's off,
Yeah.
right? And what they did was they chucked a load of questions at it.
All sanctioned by the government.
Yeah, this is all fine.
So the head lands perfectly on the neck and goes, what do you want to know?
And it said...
So they're asking questions and it's going, do you know what? To be quite honest, I don't answer your question. I'm a little bit annoyed about the execution still.
Well, that was the interesting thing. They said it's about...
No, it's not. It didn't happen, Karl.
Let me hear it.
Oh, don't talk
Let me
shit.
hear it.
What are you talking about? Who? These people around in white coats going, quick, ask it a question. It's bleeding.
Right, so they said for about 25 to 30 seconds. The last 5 seconds, it is sort of like, can't be bothered answering them.
Right, but prior to that...
But apart from that, they were chucking stuff. I don't think it spoke. I don't think it was like, 2 and 2, 4 and stuff. It was more, it was to do with blinking.
So blink once if you say yes, blink twice.
So I told it, said, listen, when you die, you're probably not going to be able to talk because your jaw's going to be on the ground. You're not going to be able to open your mouth. If you do, you'll fall over backwards and hit your head. Now listen, blink 1 for yes and 2 for no. Yeah, right, yeah, not too bad. Yeah, is the axe nice and sharp? Yeah,
Promise?
you're
Do you
talking
promise?
shit again.
You promise to do it? Yes, all right.
Well, yeah. The thing is, they wouldn't be able to do it with you, because if they cut your head off, it would just roll. It would roll away, because it's perfectly spherical. They would go, oh no, there's
Plus,
no...
it takes about 20 seconds whenever you ask Karl anything for the question to process and for him to start to formulate an answer. Karl, Joe from Bradford asks, what body parts can you live without? He wants to know. He's obviously having sleepless nights thinking about this.
What, so...
With a brain.
He's coped this far.
Yeah, I did a bit of an experiment on this, right?
Brilliant.
It's my job at home to wash up, right? Suzanne does...
She gives you all the really big responsible ones.
Yeah.
She sort of like pays the bills and wires the house. And you go, what can I do? And you can go, well, you can go and play with the worms in the garden.
Yeah.
So anyway, so it's my job to wash up and that, right? And I thought to sort of make it interesting and stuff. I thought, I wonder if I can do it, right? If I didn't have any thumbs.
And so what did you do?
So I just sort
You
of did
sliced
it.
off your thumbs.
I just sort of held them in, and it's amazing how, like, it took me ages. Just having that one thing gone.
Well, it's part of our evolution, the opposable thumb. Basically, that's when we soared. These are milestones in human evolution. The opposable thumb, the forward-facing eyes, the upright. These are massive things in taking us out of the animal kingdom.
And one day, Karl, you'll walk upright.
But what do you mean about eyes facing forward? You mean before we got here, there was people whose eyes were looking in their head?
So, when you were doing this experiment, washing up, you say that you found it difficult, it took you ages. So you didn't just give up once you realised how essential thumbs were.
No,
you actually washed up everything.
I just think of Suzanne walking in and Karl's there, just covered in water and very liquid suds, standing on a pile of broken crockery.
Yeah, plunging his face into the sink every 30 seconds and just swishing his head around.
But we talked about the washing up thing before, haven't we? And I sort of look out of a window, so the sink's in front of the window.
Yeah.
And that's why I quite like washing up, because I can just look out onto the street, see people going past. There's like a local homeless fella called Franco. You know, I look out that he's all right and everything.
Sure.
But I was looking across the way, right, and there's some there's some Chinese people who live in a flat, right, really small flat, and they're up till all hours. I don't know what they're doing, but they decide to back up at about 3:30 in the morning. Right? They're always really noisy and that. But above them, there was some woman, right, who the sort of bedroom is on par to our kitchen, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sort of washing up,
Yeah.
and I sort of look across and see this woman with like, you know, no pants on and that, no bra and that.
Naked.
Yeah, just
That's the word you're looking for.
yeah, she's just wandering about, you know, on that. So I was like, oh, what's going on here? So I carried on washing up and that, right? And kept looking, and then I was looking and she looked at me. Right, so we made eye contact.
Sure.
So I was like, oh God, right? So what I thought the best thing to do was sort of drop me pants a little bit. just a little bit, just like, you know, I had boxer shorts on and that. I thought if I just show a little bit of sort of arse cheek, then it's kind of like, right, we quits. Right?
I don't understand the thinking.
So Suzanne's watching the telly, right? I think she was watching Sex and the City or something.
Yeah.
She sort of turns around to see how I'm getting on with the washing up, right? She sees me with like my pants sort of down a little bit with my arse out. She said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Don't look now." I said, "But there's a woman over the road, right? With no pants on and that." She caught me looking. I'm just giving her a bit back.
I love the fact that he explains the rules, and Suzanne's meant to go, okay.
That makes sense. But I don't. So hang on. So you showed a bit of your arse. You turned presumably to show the arse, or waggled the arse at the woman.
I had to lift it up a little bit on the sort of on the draining board.
What? Hang on though. What did she do? Did you register her reaction when she saw a bit of your arse? What happened?
When she saw my arse,
yeah.
Well, then I wasn't looking because I thought, in a way, I don't want it to look like, well, I've seen a bit of your stuff, here's a bit of mine. I just thought, at the end of the day, I caught a glance of you.
It's only fair.
You've had a bit back. You know, I'm not making a big deal out of it.
I genuinely think James Stewart missed a trick here in Rear Window.
Yeah.
This would have been, you know, a much better film had James Stewart just popped his pants down.
It would have given a whole new meaning to the title Rear Window.
Yeah, exactly.
It's tricky though. I seem to be surrounded by people like that. Remember that film, that Sliver or something?
Okay, right.
When they've got video cameras.
Yeah.
I'm just looking onto everybody's world and just seeing what people are getting up to. There's nothing wrong with that.
Brilliant.
That's why I like washing up.
We were talking about famous mantras and sayings and things.
Yeah.
Never has a Manc said so much to so many that means so little.
Brilliant.
So you can have that on your headstone. Rupert.
Your little round headstone.
Rupert's in the Isle of Man. He says, I don't know if you knew this, Karl, but apparently octopus's testicles are located in their heads.
Yeah. But then, to me, that isn't that amazing, because at the end of the day, an octopus, really, all it is an head, isn't it?
So everything it's got has to be in the head?
It has to be in the head. It'd look daft if they dangled down below. Right? So all it is, I mean, there's a lot
Hang
of
on,
facts.
it'd look daft if they dangled down below. I'm wondering, but that could almost be the B-side to
B-side to
Knob at Night.
I could eat a knob at night.
James Round says, Karl, if you could be anyone in the world, who would it be?
Dead or alive?
Why would you choose to be a dead person?
No, but sometimes, like, there's people who are now dead, but everybody raves about them. What I mean is, if...
Oh, just answer the question. Who would you be and why? It's someone you admire or you think had a good life. Just answer the question.
But what I mean is, it's good to be remembered, like Winston Churchill is remembered as being a decent bloke, but I wouldn't want the hassle that he had. So I don't want to live his life.
Right.
But it's good to be...
You'd like to be Winston Churchill, but you'd like to have a paper round instead of...
saving the world.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. But is he saying whose job would I want to take on?
It's not that complicated.
The question is this: if he could be anyone in the world, who would Karl be? That's the question. That's all the information I've got.
A lot of responsibility on a lot of jobs, isn't there?
So, some of the names flowing through your head now?
I was thinking Bruce Willis.
expected that. I never expected that.
So his responsibility in your mind is what? Saving people who are trapped in a building with terrorists?
Well, yeah, maybe, you know, his worries are different worries. With, you know, people who have a lot of money come other worries.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So Bruce Willis, he's always going on these marches, isn't he, saying stop war and all that. Mainly because he's got, you know, he's got more to lose if there's a war. He's got loads of houses. One of them's going to get damaged. Whereas if you're poor, you've got the one house. If there's a war, it's like, oh, just end it all for me then. I'm sick of it anyway. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
So
Whereas Bruce, yeah.
With successful life and happy life, there's more for you to lose, is what I'm saying.
Right.
Like at the moment, because I've finished a job that I've been at for 10 years, right? I've finished working there, so suddenly I've got my timetable's a bit out, and I haven't got enough of a routine, and I'm a man who likes to know what I'm doing. Right?
Yeah.
So now suddenly
5 until 7, washing up with no thumbs.
I've sort of turned into like an old person, where the little jobs that you shouldn't enjoy are now the main event.
But hold on, how old are you? You're 31, aren't you?
32.
32, and you're pottering around, not knowing what to do with yourself.
Well, like yesterday, Suzanne's shoes needed to go to the cobblers, right?
I haven't heard the word cobblers.
I didn't even know cobblers still existed.
I only ever see that in Christmas films made by Disney.
Well, I had to go and do that, and that suddenly...
Because last time you were going to the toffee shop, and now you're going to the cobblers. Next week it's the candlestick maker.
But all I mean is that suddenly is a nice little day out. I'm sort of putting my coat on, going, right, I'll go and see the cobbler now and go and have a chat.
Tell me about the cobbler.
You didn't come back with 3 magic beans, did you?
No, the cobbler's all right. He's doing, he's fixing shoes and that.
He's cobbling all day.
Have I told you about my Uncle Alf, who was a cobbler?
No.
I'm sure I told you about him. He's the one who he lived in like a bed sit, and he had 2 tellies. He had like one that the sound didn't work on, and one that the picture didn't. But both together, it worked.
Oh, right, okay.
So as long as he was watching the same channel on both, sound came out of one telly, and he'd watch the picture on the other.
Brilliant.
And he slept in like a rubber dinghy, right? But he was...
Whoa! You can't just let that slide. Why did he sleep in a rubber dinghy?
He just liked boats and stuff, and he sort of...
Yeah, I like boats, but they're better on the water. Beds are better to sleep on. Boats are better to sail on.
Well, he just had it in there. It's a bed sit. It was really tight space.
Boat sit.
He's got this.
He's moved into a dinghy sit.
He's got this dinghy, so he's thinking, well, rather than it get in the way, I might as well use it.
Yeah.
Right? But he was a cobbler, and he used to like repair like my shoes and that, right?
Yeah.
But he'd always sort of overdo them. Right, so
What do you mean?
like,
Fancy.
do you know like Pimp My Ride on MTV?
Yeah.
Because he does up shoes, he'd go mental on them.
What do you mean? There was the stereo.
Yeah.
Well, no,
There was horns.
He'd sound...
Here
Go
comes
faster
Karl.
stripes down the side.
Yeah, here comes Mr. Pilkington. He's got the fastest shoes in the land.
No, he'd just make shoes that would last forever. So instead of putting like one sole on, he'd put about 5 on. So it looked like one of them built-up shoes that you never see. He'd just put loads of stuff on. They'd last forever. But they did.
But they look
because
like
I was-
orthopaedic shoes.
Yeah. It just like suddenly I was like 6'7" whenever he'd sort of sorted my shoes out. But he's a cobbler, and it's work that's always there for you, isn't it?
I suppose so.
So you went out with to take Suzanne's shoes to the cobbler.
Yeah, so that's it. Yeah, so I just took him to the cobblers and that was like a nice little job for the day. I got a leaflet through the door saying, if you want to walk a dog, the rates are good. I don't know what they pay and that. And I thought if I do that and get a paper round, 2 in 1.
Sorry, you just went from a job, right, where you were the head of production at a radio station, dare I say it, on... can I discuss your...
Well, it was an all right wage, yeah.
It was very good.
But I wasn't happy, so it's pointless.
No, I know that, but to go from the head of a department on a lot of money to walking dogs and doing a paper round, I don't know.
No, but it's about being happy, isn't it?
I know, but that's commendable if that's true, but... okay.
And that makes you happier.
Well, I haven't walked the dog yet, but I'm just saying if I do... I mean, I'm not taking it if it's raining. I'm just thinking if it's a nice sunny day and I fancy a potter, I'll go round to her and say, well, how much are you paying? I'll take the dog a walk and stuff.
But I can't believe some of the words that have cropped up. Potter, cobblers, toffee shop. It's very, very strange.
Do you live in Narnia?
A lot of people are sort of emailing in sort of brainy stuff
Brilliant.
and getting a lot of stuff about philosophy
Oh, yeah.
and all that. Descartes, that's another one that's mentioned on an email.
Descartes,
Yeah.
the French philosopher.
Yeah.
What's your question?
Well, he sort of cropped up on an email. Someone said, what do you think of him? And I was like, oh, I don't know.
He famously he pondered his own existence. Cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. He was thinking about that. He was thinking, how do I know all this is true, everything around me? And he thought, well, I can see it and I can smell it and I can hear it. And he went, oh yeah, my senses can be fooled. I could be dreaming. But if I'm dreaming, then at least I'm alive. At least I have some sort of consciousness. So if I'm even thinking about anything, I exist. I think, therefore I am. Cogito ergo sum.
But we don't need to know the Latin bit. Why is everyone always going back to Latin? It was ages ago. Why is that language always being... And were Latin people always in a rush? Because they seem to be like words for full sentences. Why couldn't they just take the time and say what they want to say? And it's just like, what was the rush?
To teach Latin.
What about Plato?
Right, Greek.
Right, now, would you say he's a bright bloke?
Yes, I would. I'd say he's a very, very bright bloke.
Right, let me tell you this. Right, if he's that bright, you know how he got killed?
No.
Got hit on the head by an egg.
Fucking hell! Well, he's
Right,
not so clever then, is he?
That's what I'm saying.
Boo!
What's the story with the egg?
He was on holiday or something, right? And
He was on holiday.
In Greece, probably.
he was having a walk about, and a bird was flying over the sort of.
This
over the
bird
beach.
was what? A great auk? What size bird killed him with his egg?
It was a big one, yeah.
Was it?
And the way they used to crack
An ostrich on a hang glider.
the eggs open to let the kids out, they used to drop them on rocks.
What bird is this? Dropping its egg to let the kids out? You're a maniac! You are a maniac!
And Plato had a little bald head.
Right.
So from the top, the bird's there looking down, and it goes, oh, there's a little rock, I'll drop the egg. Hit him on the head, killed him. Now, this is what I was saying before about...
I'm letting too much go now, because I'm so desensitised to his nonsense. I let him go. The bird saw Plato and said, there's a rock down there.
Yeah. Well, if these birds are killing people with bald heads, you've got to be terrified.
So, but listen, this is what I'm saying, though, right? Before about knowledge and that, how knowledge is hassle, or success is hassle.
I think that was Newton. Knowledge is hassle.
Now, but why is Plato's intelligence got anything to do with the fact that this bird dropped an egg on his head?
Because he was intelligent, and he's probably earning a nice few quid
Yeah.
by giving out whatever messages he gave out.
Yeah.
He could afford to go on holiday to exotic places. If he was working in a factory, he wouldn't have been on this beach with big birds dropping eggs, is what I'm saying. So, in a way, it backfired. His knowledge killed him.
And that, I think, was Kierkegaard. His knowledge killed him.
He shouldn't have been on the beach. He was only there having a break or whatever from doing what he does. It wouldn't have happened if he wasn't on holiday.
This is an email we've had saying, Karl, what do you take by the well-known saying, a stitch in time saves nine?
Oh, a stitch in time saves nine. Yeah.
See, it's another one that I don't think I've picked up on a lot of these sayings that are being sort of thrown about willy-nilly.
Willy-nilly.
Willy-nilly. Okay.
Willy-nilly.
No, but I, again, it's one of them like last week. I've heard of it, but
But what does willy-nilly mean?
It just sort of means, carefree.
That's right, yeah.
Okay,
So
but what
that's
does a
good.
stitch in time
So
save
you
nine
understood
mean?
willy-nilly, so you used a
but it
phrase.
sounds nice,
you used
doesn't
it,
it?
you said it willy-nilly, but you've sort of got the gist of it. So what does a stitch in time saves nine mean?
I don't know.
What do you
must
mean you
know.
don't know? Think about it. A stitch in time saves nine.
Is it to do with sewing?
Well, yeah, sort of. So
It's not that clear.
So if you got a jacket,
Yeah.
and the seam starts coming undone, oh, there's a little bit of seam. I'll leave it. Oh, it's getting worse and
Right,
worse. Soon
right.
your sleeve falls off. So you just need 1 stitch there, that'll do it. If you do it now, later you'll need 9 stitches. And that, of course, is an analogy to other things.
But it depends if you're busy at that point, because if you've got something else that needs doing, that means that isn't being done because you're messing about sorting out a hole in your coat, is what I mean.
Yeah.
You can't always do stuff straight away. So maybe, I don't know if there's a sort of a middle ground where you don't have to do it straight away, but stitching
A stitch sometimes
time,
today.
say in 15 or whatever, meaning you don't have to do it straight away, but just do it before it gets really bad.
Brilliant. Do you think yours is less poetic than a stitching time saves 9? So yours is, this is what you wanted to be a quote, right? Where, well, you could do it now, but if you're doing something else, then, well, don't do it immediately, but do it soon so it doesn't get really bad. Karl Pilkington.
No, but it's the same. That's the same way I treat most things in life. It's like I never go to the doctors unless it's really
That is sensible.
bad.
That is very good advice.
No.
That's brilliant advice
Well,
for
it is,
anyone
though.
listening. Never go to the doctors.
Unless it's really bad.
But that's why a lot of people, die because they don't want to bother the doctor, or they're mildly embarrassed, or they don't know symptoms, bad symptoms. Go to the doctor if you're not sure about something. Like you were terrified to go and have your prostate.
Still not doing it.
Why not?
I wish you wouldn't talk about it, because now Suzanne will listen to this and she'll go, "Oh yeah, you haven't been," and start dragging it up again.
But why are you worried about a qualified doctor?
I don't know what they're doing up there.
What they
What
just
year
pop
are
the-
we in?
They. What are you talking about? They pop their finger up.
That's what I mean, though.
Why?
Why are they still using the index finger?
What, would you prefer the forefinger or the thumb, would
No.
you?
No, what I mean is, we've got.
Or a thumb on a stick, some kind of thumb on a stick.
Yeah, would you prefer it to
A
be
mechanical thumb, a robot thumb.
Why isn't it just a little camera?
Well, they put the camera up if they initially discover something.
But just put the camera up straight away. If I'm
No,
paying
they
for
don't
the
need
visit.
to. They pop the finger up, feel that the prostate isn't swollen, wiggle it around a little bit up your back passage. What are you worried about?
I don't think they need to do that.
Are you
in this day
embarrassed?
and
Are you
age.
embarrassed about being in a room with your trousers around your ankles and little fellas
A
popping his...
little bit, yeah.
Why?
And the other thing is, it's not just that, is it? So you go in there, they check your heart out and that, which to me is the most important thing, because that's what keeps you going, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right? You've got to go there. You
Yeah.
sat on the bus stressing out, thinking, oh, in less than half an hour I'm going to have a finger up the arse, right?
What is the problem?
And they go
though?
in, they check your heart, they probably check your testicles and that.
What's up with that? They take your testicles, yeah.
Yeah, but it's all building, and you've sat there going, oh, soon that'll be happening.
Yeah.
And that's what puts me off.
So if they just came round when you were asleep, Suzanne just let them in and goes, he's over there, right?
Yeah.
And they crept up and went, bang. You go, what are you
prefer
doing?
that?
I just don't understand why they don't teach you how to do it yourself.
How can they?
Wow.
How can they teach? Imagine you squatting in a corner with one hand on your bollocks and the other finger up the arse going, it seems to be all right.
Carl, you don't understand the phrase "a stitch in time saves 9." I don't think you should be doing any kind of invasive medical research in your own human body.
But then
Who
if the-
knows what trouble you're going to cause?
No, but then at least
You would get stuck.
Yeah.
You would get stuck.
Suzanne would come out, your fist would be up your own arse. Harry from Canterbury wants to know whether any of us have ever had any cruel nicknames. He claims that he's quite tall and rather hirsute, and he says he's often called Lurch or Wolfie. He's always thought that Carl looks a bit like Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah. No, there's no potato that round. But I suppose you could fashion a potato to be that round.
Yeah.
Maybe we could, if anyone can carve a potato into the roundest head ever,
Yeah.
pop a couple of eyes on it.
Make it look as much like Carl as possible.
Exactly.
But yeah, any nicknames? Did you ever have a nickname, Rick?
No, mine was boring. I didn't have any. It was just around the name, like Gervais or something like that. No, I didn't have nicknames.
I always wanted a nickname. I just thought it was quite cool for some reason, particularly because gangsters always seem to have nicknames. You know,
Lefty.
Fingers.
Yeah.
Lefty, yeah. Scarface.
Yeah.
And so I decided that I thought, because no one was giving me a nickname at school, it was kind of annoying, or certainly not to my face,
Yeah.
that I decided to just come up with one.
Yeah.
And so I remember I was at lunch once, and I just said to my mate Phil,
How old were you?
12, 13.
Brilliant.
I just said to him, Phil, don't know if you know, mate, but people aren't calling me Steve anymore. Everyone's calling me Spud now. Now, I don't know why I thought Spud. It's weird, we should talk about Mr. Potato Head. I don't know why I thought Spud was a was a cool nickname. I think
It's a grown-up name, though, isn't it?
and it's also because I think it sounded like it was probably either something that you'd find in one of those kids' books, like the Famous Five, or like the Bash Street Kids. There'd be Spud, and I always imagine with Spud, he's not the leader of the gang, but he's a reliable member.
I think
You know
Spud
what I mean?
is the biggest lorry driver in one particular sort of car park.
Yeah.
And here comes Spud.
Yeah.
And he gets out, all right, boys. And he's big and massive. And Spud can eat 2 breakfasts.
Exactly, yeah. But I just, in my mind, it was, that I would be one day part of a gang, and it's, I'm Pinky, this is Jojo, and the tall guy Spud.
And it didn't catch
and
on,
it
did
never
it?
really caught. And he just went, oh yeah, right. And no one started, and I was hoping he'd go, everyone's calling Steve Spud.
Yeah.
But of course...
Hey, Spud. The first time I said Spud, you go, what?
Yeah, exactly.
You'd be really proud, wouldn't you? No.
Did you have a nickname?
Not really. I mean, there was a lot of people on the estate that I grew up on. You know, nicknames are big things on estates and that.
Yeah.
A lot of my dad's mates, right? What their nicknames did was tell you about them. Do you know how I said about the Elephant Man's a good name?
Yeah.
Because, like, you know what you're going to get. If someone said, Elephant Man's popping around in a bit, it wouldn't be a shock when he walked in.
Yeah.
Right? So it worked in that sort of thing. You know, so there was John the Screw, right?
John the Screw?
Yeah.
Well, he had sex a lot, or he worked in a prison?
No, he had a DIY shop. so you had him, right? There was Fred the Veg,
Yeah.
which is
I assume it's because he was at the same IQ as you.
Or he was in a coma.
Yeah.
Right.
There was my uncle, Tattoo Stan.
All right.
Yeah, he had like loads of tattoos that he'd just done himself.
Oh, my
Right.
God.
The problem was, because he did his tattoos himself, the ones on his left arm were really good. Because he was right-handed. On his right arm, rubbish. Right? So there was him.
Great.
And there was Jimmy the Hat.
Jimmy
who-
the Hat.
Yeah.
Did
And
he always wear a hat?
No, he didn't. That was the point there. That he never wore a hat.
That's amazing.
Brilliant.
How can you pick up on someone never wearing a hat? How would you ever notice? I'll tell you what, I've noticed something about Jimmy. What?
Go on.
He doesn't wear a hat. Why was he not called Jimmy the Parrot? Because he never carries a parrot.
No, but that's just the way. I mean, that's how they work in it. I mean,
Here comes Jimmy Three Legs. Why'd you call him that? He hasn't got 3 legs.
I didn't really have one apart from like I had a CB. You know, like when you'd go on a CB radio and have a chat to people.
Oh, this was a craze in the was it late 70s, early 80s?
Sort of early 80s.
And it was just short band radio, wasn't it? Everyone had these little handsets and they'd speak to each other in the sort of local area.
Yeah, it was mainly. I think it started off with like
Lorry
truckers
drivers,
and
isn't it? Yeah, truckers, yeah, because there was that thing from like about 1977,
Convoy.
it was Convoy, yeah.
Yeah, so I had one of them, and the handle. I had 2
Handle
different names.
means your nickname, your
Yeah,
name.
there's loads of code stuff.
Yeah.
I had a couple. I had there was Pilky 01, because
Right.
like I say, there's a lot of Pilkingtons and that in Manchester. So if someone wants Pilky 02, it's open. Do you know what I mean? They can have it. And then
Like it's people scrabbling. I want a Pilky one.
and then because I did boxing and that,
Well, you did it once.
Yeah.
I'd Boxer Boy, because I thought that's quite a good image as well. That's kind of like people going, oh, don't mess with him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If he asks what your handle is, tell him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's Boxer Boy and that.
Yeah.
So just had them 2, and I used to just go on there and.
Pointless. What is the point of this?
Well, you just meet people, don't you?
And you
So-
don't meet people. You say, "What's your handle?" They go, "Box Boy." What's yours? Rubber duck. All right, cheers.
No,
It's
but then
ridiculous.
you'll say like, then you go, oh, what's your 20?
What's that mean?
That's where are you?
Well, why don't you say, "Where are you?"
Because just in case there's someone who's listening in who you know, you hear about this all the time, don't you? People listening, jotting stuff down.
Oh, right. So just in case someone in the world doesn't know what handle means, they're out of the loop. They're out of the loop.
It's not a difficult code to crack, is it? If
Yeah.
you're trying to track someone.
It's hardly the head of the mafia talking to each other because the FBI are on the wire. It's ridiculous. Like, I go, "Oh, you keep saying that, what's your handle?" And they come back with something else. I can't work out what's going on.
No, it's like anything, isn't it? That's what codes are all about, isn't it? You set them up and that.
Go on and tell me the code then.
Reveal at long last to the world what
Yeah.
these codes are.
Right, so
Yeah.
what's your 20? Where
Oh,
are you?
this is better than the Enigma.
Yeah.
Right, now here we go.
Right.
How many candles are you burning?
Does that mean how big's your car or something like that? Horsepower or something?
See? No, that's
Oh,
how old
what
are you?
time is it?
No, how old are you?
What? How old are you? Okay.
Right.
Right.
How many candles are you burning? Of course.
Yeah.
So what's the answer? Come back.
You go.
I'm 15.
14.
Brilliant. That code. There's no one going to work that out. I wish you'd have kept a diary of this, because this has been fascinating.
Now and again, someone will come in and go side on, right?
What's that mean?
And that means like there's someone sat there listening into this chat and going, "This sounds interesting,"
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
Unlikely.
Yeah.
and they want to join in, so they sort of go side on. You go side on, bring it in, right? And they go, "All right."
How many candles are you burning?
Yeah. What's your 20?
Thus it goes round again.
Yeah.
See you later. What's your 20? How many candles are you burning?
Oh.
And, I mean, it seems to me that what you should have done is made a note the first time, so that when you then speak to them again, you don't need to ask them those questions. Can I just confirm that you're burning 15? We do, of course, Rick, every week get thousands of emails. Emily from New York has asked Karl this. Karl, if you were on a sinking ship, or you were in a burning building, and you were with myself and Ricky, but you could only save one of us, I don't know why that's the case, but you can only save one of us,
Yeah.
who would you save? Would it be Ricky, or would it be me?
I think it's a two-man dinghy.
Right, okay.
Possibly. And we're trapped, and he knows that if he stays there to get both our legs out from under this thing...
The girder.
Yeah,
that's
he
full on.
dies. So he's got room, he's got time to save one. It's obviously me.
It's hard to say, isn't it, at this point?
What,
It depends
because
what the
Steve's in the
situation-
room, you mean?
Well, no, just because we don't know what the situation is.
Okay, well, let's say we're on a sinking ship, all right? So you're going to have to rescue one of us, drag us into the dinghy.
It's going under. You know, in 30 seconds, okay, this ship's going to go under and drag you down and you're going to die, right? And our legs are trapped, and you've got enough time to untangle one set of legs. Whose legs do you untangle?
Now, just because my legs are long does not necessarily mean it's more complicated.
No, it's exactly the same amount of time. Just have to make a choice. A terrible choice that Steve would not, hate you for.
Well, no, listen,
He
all
won't
I
be
would say
around
is-
for long. He's going to drown in 30 seconds.
Well-
Forget him.
Bear in mind this, Karl. You are going to be stuck in a dinghy with Ricky Gervais, and who knows how long that's going to take.
Yeah.
Think of all the head squeezing that's going to be going on, the comments, the wind. And do you honestly think that he's going to, if there's any provisions, that he's going to split them evenly with you? I mean, he's going to have drunk all the water, and there's only going to be about half an hour in. The food's going to be gone. Look at his gut. Look how much, of the food he's going to have to eat, the baked beans that you've got on board. Whereas
on.
me, you know how generous I am. I'm always sort of helping
there
you
we
out.
go, Karl. I think he's put the nail in his own coffin there. You know how generous I am, Karl. Let's talk about that, Karl. Come on, think about that one.
Yeah, I mean, have you forgot about that, Steve?
What?
The time when we went for a coffee and we had to have a bit of a heated debate about the 50p change.
Yeah, you owed me 50p,
Oh, I'm not
and you
working.
decided you didn't want to give it to me because it was only 50p. And my point was, it's not a question of 50p, it's the fact that it's not your decision to decide not to give it to me. If I wanted to be generous, that's my decision. But you can't go, oh, it's only 50p, Steve.
It's my decision who I
But
say
you just given him a free keg of beer.
Yeah.
No, but that did not come to you, and you didn't pay for the free keg of beer. It was a
matter.
promotional thing that was sent to you.
matter.
It's the same thing as the way I gave Suzanne my leaving present from my last job.
A lot of people may not be aware of this if they haven't heard us talking about it before. Yes, but you had a gift from your work as you were leaving after however many years of service, which you then gave straight to your girlfriend without telling her that it had been received from people at work.
Doesn't matter, she wanted a camera. It's the same thing as you. You wanted that lager that I got for free. It hasn't cost you anything. It doesn't matter where I got it from.
So you now decide, because you've given me a free crate of lager, that you can now say, oh, actually, I'm not, in the future, I'll just take your money, Steve, on a whim.
Well,
Listen, stop arguing like this. You're rocking the dinghy. Karl, have some of my cheese.
Imagine if he would ever say that. Can you imagine him ever offering you any of his cheese?
Are you going to save Karl, mate?
I don't want to say.
Well, think about it and...
I might do a sort of a for and against or something, and then sort of, so the conclusion is...
Okay, all right.
A few people have sent this in, including Paul, the party animal Parker. For some reason, we've just assumed he's in school. I don't think there's any actual proof of that. But do you think...
I reckon he left in June, and he's doing sort of bits and pieces, but he's still a party animal.
Do you think he can hold down a job? Is he just partying so hard that...
He can hold down a job. He often arrives late.
Sure.
And the boss, who's in an overall, go, Parker, you're late again. He goes, yeah, talk to the hand. Yeah.
I think that he's the sort of guy that he'll just happily say, listen, I survive on 4 hours sleep.
Yeah.
Sometimes I go to work, I've not slept at all.
But I think he comes in with his headphones blaring, right, on a skateboard, and the bloke goes up to him, the old bloke, right, the old fuddy-duddy bloke goes, you stupid idiot, you can't... He goes, chill out, man, and in 2 minutes, he's got him dancing.
Oh, I know what he's like. Yeah, he is just like, you just can't resist it, because he's just a fun guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, Paul and a few other people have sent in this piece of information they've discovered from one of the more respected news networks. The headline is this: female kidney turns lumberjack onto housework.
Right.
Now, a Croatian lumberjack apparently has claimed that he started enjoying housework and knitting after he was given a female kidney. He claims he's going to sue his local health authority because he says he's become a laughingstock. He used to enjoy heavy drinking sessions and things. The kidney transplant saved his life, but they never warned me about the side effects. I've developed a strange passion for female jobs, like ironing, sewing, washing dishes, sorting clothes in wardrobes, and even knitting.
Well, if he likes it, what's the problem? It's nonsense. It's nonsense. Hold on, though. What makes me laugh is he's become a laughingstock. So what do you do when you become a laughingstock? Tell the newspapers.
Well, yeah.
Tell the newspapers about it, because then that'd keep it completely under wraps. Then.
But it's the sort of medical nonsense that Karl would normally come out with.
Absolutely. That you take on the personality of the person who gave you their blood.
Exactly. It's like those old horror stories, you get given a murderer's hand.
Yeah.
And you go around killing.
But there can be certain medical things that would change the way you think and would change you as a person. Say, like how they can do face transplants now.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I don't quite understand how this face transplants work, because do you get a choice of who you have? If you have something done to your face and you go, it's burnt or whatever, or something happens to you and you need a face transplant.
Well, if you totally changed your appearance, then you would eventually change because of how people reacted to you.
Yeah, but
if you gave yourself the head of an elephant, soon you wouldn't be yourself because
I wouldn't have it. I wouldn't have that. That's what I'm saying. If they had a catalogue and they said, here's some faces you can have, pick which one you want.
Yeah.
Would you be looked upon badly if you go, do you know what? I don't really like the look of any of them. Can I just wait for a better face? Or at this moment in time, have you just got to take what's on offer?
Karl, there's no one looking through catalogues at faces they might be able to have.
No, they do now because of the face transplant thing.
But who are these people putting their face up for? They wait till someone...
Yeah, I know, but at some point... Well, I tell you what, I would not have a face transplant if I haven't seen the face before I'm going to have it.
You had to...
I want to see what I'm having. Because I could end up with anything. You mentioned elephant's head. What, do you know what I mean? Whose head are they going to use? Is it the latest thing that's died? Oh, well, this got run over before. Yeah, I'll stick this on your head.
But where has this come from? Where
From
are
his
these
mind.
people- Where are these faces queuing up to be popped on a skull? Where do you think they have got time to put all these...
Maybe this is why it won't catch on. I don't know.
This is extraordinary. You've created in your own head the existence of this pamphlet, and now you're defending it, even though we don't know it even exists.
And you're this skull on a hospital bed going, I'm not having that. I don't like the look of him. He looks a bit shifty. Oh, I don't like that. Oh, no.
Can I ask this now? Let's say we'd passed away sadly in something terribly tragic. The nation's mourned. It's terrible. It's like one of the great national disasters. But you... At the same time, you survived the accident, okay, but your face is hideously disfigured. You can take either Ricky's face or mine to have.
I'm surprised you're asking this, though, Steve. I mean, it doesn't seem like any of them is like a great option.
Oh, thanks.
And this is what I'm saying about the catalogue. If those two were on offer, I might go, do you know what? Pop in again tomorrow. Bring in another booklet.
This is from Anne-Marie. She says that she loves the podcast. She listens with her 7-month-old baby. That cannot be a good idea. And she says this to you, Karl. If you had children, what is the most important lesson you'd want to teach them?
I mean, in a way, if you sort of look after a kid too much, it doesn't learn that much. But if you let it learn by its mistakes, it'll probably grow up all right.
But there are some mistakes you can't afford it to make to learn from.
Yeah, driving a car the wrong way down a motorway.
Testing if the fire really is hot.
No, but say like the time...
Does broken glass really taste horrible? These are lessons you don't want it to learn from mistakes.
You can tell them that.
Yeah,
but what I mean is, there's certain things that I just think there was a kid who grew up in our avenue, right, on the estate, who, when it was born, right, we kind of thought it's got no chance, this kid, because its man was a bit of a rumman. You know,
A rumman? Where's that?
No, just like, you know, she liked going out and having a fag and like having a drink, and she's never at home. It's the one who had the horse in the house.
Sure.
Right, which I don't want to go over.
Sure, it's old news.
It's out there, isn't it, if you want to find out about the horse in the house. But she had a kid, and everyone was pretty surprised when they saw it, because it was a good-looking kid. She was surprised because, like, you know, the man wasn't that good-looking, the dad was a bit rough. But it came out, and she was showing it around the avenue, going, look at this I've had. And she was chuffed with it, because it's probably like one of the newest things she's ever had, because everything else was always sort of
Second hand.
and what have you. But suddenly she's got this brand new little baby, right? Anyway, as it grew up, right, those looks went.
Right.
And I'm not talking getting old, I'm talking by the age of about 3. It looked rough already, right? And all that just happened because that's the life it was in, right?
Yeah.
So like it had like a patchy head. Its hair.
It what? It had a patchy head.
A patchy head. It's just sort of.
It wasn't a North
stressful.
American Indian. What do you mean, a patchy head?
Just his hair was patchy. He used to chase sort of cars and stuff.
It's God, sorry. What do you mean?
Just that's what he did for his.
Sorry, did she let it get raised by wolves?
No. But all I'm saying is that at the end of the day, what is it that makes a person? Do you know what I mean? Now, I don't know what state he's in now, but maybe he learned all his mistakes by the age of 4. I'm guessing he's not chasing cars now, but at least he's done it.
I'm guessing he is.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? At least you can go, yeah, I've been there, done that, and you don't go back to it, and you can get away with doing dafter things when you're a kid, can't you? I nearly killed a man once, right?
Okay, right. Did
That time when I was in Wales, and I was having a walk with my dad on the cliffs and that,
Yeah.
I just picked up a big rock, right? Chucked it off the edge, and as I chucked it off the edge, I noticed a fella was walking down below.
Jeez.
And I missed his head by, like, inches. Now, I've never chucked a rock off a bridge or, like, off a cliff or anything.
And it only took one man to almost lose his life for you to learn that lesson.
Yeah, but that's how you learn your lessons,
Yeah.
isn't it?
See, a lot of people would have said that maybe your dad should have said, "Wait, Carl, what are you doing?"
No, but he didn't know I was doing it. I didn't say I'm going to chuck this off there. I just picked it up and chucked it. And, like, as I let go of it, I noticed a fella was down there. You live and you learn. That's a little mantra. Right?
All right.
You live
Okay.
and you learn. So the woman who's had the kid, sort of look after it, feed it, make sure it's got shoes and that, but let it roam about.
That's great.
There's the advice for you, Anne-Marie.
I love that.
Good luck. Just let your 7-month-old baby roam about. Carl, a lot of people are absolutely fascinated to find out how you met Suzanne, your girlfriend of how long?
Ages.
Yeah. And they can't comprehend how, well, I suppose that there's any woman out there.
Well, there's someone
Who
for
would-
everyone, isn't there?
Yeah.
That's always my thing. And it's reassuring, I think. You know, we chatted about the face transplants and that. You know, there's a face for everyone.
It's philosophy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's really unbelievable.
No, there is someone for everyone, no matter what
Yeah.
condition you're in or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I read on the email, someone emailed in an old Chinese proverb. It's something about everything, no matter what it is, has got one talent. And that's the same way in a relationship, innit? That everyone, you know, there's always someone out there. And that I like the Chinese. There's another Chinese proverb that I learned on an email.
Go on.
He who cuts the wood up warms himself twice.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good.
Yeah.
And then someone sent in that one about too many Chinese cooks spoil the broth.
Why is that's I don't know who slipped the word Chinese in there, but I heard it as too many cooks.
Well, it was
spoil.
just all sort of Chinese proverbs and that.
One of my favourite on the same subject is a camel is a horse designed by committee.
What do you mean?
Well, it's having a go at the camel, and it shouldn't. But it's just, it's just a metaphor. And if you wanted to design a horse and you had that vision, but you let 12 people in the room have their say, it wouldn't come out as you wanted it to do, and it wouldn't be as good. A vision is more perfect than committee, because everyone having their say, it becomes anodyne, it becomes compromised. Whereas the best things you can do is have an idea and have a vision and auteur that.
Rick, can I just say now, I can tell from his look that he's thinking, which committee designed the camel?
Well, I'd say, why would you request the ump bit? Because that's just going to get in the way, isn't it? I've always said that about a lot of animals. It's like we've doubled up on a lot of them. We've chatted about elephants and mammoths, one or the other. And that's the same with a camel. I'd have that up there as what they're doing. They were good years ago, in the Jesus times and that. Don't need them now. You know what I mean? We've moved on.
Well, not people who use camels to cross deserts.
What other? I'm
communities.
going to throw some animals at you, and you tell how you'd have improved them if you'd have been designing them. Okay? Mm. The octopus.
So I can now go back. I can look at them and go, "What are they doing?"
And where have they gone wrong? What's up with you? How could you improve it? Like the camel, you'd go lose the amp.
I'd probably give it a bit more of a body. Cut down on the arms. And give it some bones, because I don't understand all this. Getting in a jar is good. When does it want to get in a jar? It says...
Well, it only wants to get in a jar according to your stories.
No, but there's something that says it can get in a jar because it hasn't got any bones, but I don't know why it'd want to do that in the first place.
Easy.
I can't even begin to answer that. Once again, you've claimed that you've read that they like to get in jars. I mean, how do they know that octopus like to get in jars?
Oh, God, you can improve on an octopus. Millions and millions of years of evolution, making it perfect for its surroundings. Okay, another animal for you then, Karl.
Giraffe?
What are they adding to the world? What are they doing?
Well, it's not about what they add to the world,
No, but
is
I thought that's what everything's about. It's about things are here for a reason.
The reason they're here is because they didn't die. That's it.
No, but there seem to be a lot of animals that are like...
Do you think there's a lot of cheating? Is that what you're saying? There's
I'm
a
just
lot
saying,
of
there just
doubling
seems
up.
to be a lot of doubling up.
Yeah, so
And
you get it down to like 8 animals that represented all of it. So okay, who would get in your team? You can choose 8 animals.
This is what I'm saying. If I was Noah, I would have gone like, hang on a minute. I've just seen something that looks a bit like this. Let it drown and have a clear out. But he didn't. He was messing about saving everything.
He was instructed by God to save everything, to be fair to him.
Yeah, but if he's been given that job, for me, he's sort of manager of that job.
So you believe
with
Noah
management.
as well? You believe Noah happened as well, and he built a boat big enough to catch 2 of every species. You actually believe that as fact, do you?
Well, it's out there in book form.
Brilliant.
All right.
We haven't answered the question that we started with. How did you meet Suzanne?
Just at work.
Thanks. I wonder if we should have a jingle for questions for Karl, because there's a lot of questions coming in for Karl.
Okay.
Oh, chimpanzee, that question's for Karl.
Yeah, okay, no, fair enough, that works. This is from Jim and Bob in Manchester. Karl, if you could talk to any animal, which one would it be and what would you say to it?
Insect, animal, anything, fish, anything.
Well, they said animal, but let's broaden it to anything.
Animal,
any creature.
Insect is an animal.
Yeah, no, but I'm just, I don't want to get it wrong. I'm just thinking about...
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff out there, isn't there? I'd probably go for the tortoise.
Okay.
Because it would take a long time to walk away from you while you were talking.
No, just because...
Most animals would be off straight away.
Yeah.
Just because they live for ages, so they'll have loads of stories. They've lived through a lot. You know what I mean? Through wars and stuff. If you get an old one, if you get like an old one, that's about 100
Most of them
or
have lived in a box in a garden for 52 years.
No, but you get some that have been about, and even if it's in a box, you can overhear.
They've really travelled, have they?
Yeah.
I mean,
some of them have experienced more than you.
Yeah.
But they've broadened their horizons a bit more than you. They could probably teach you a thing or two, yeah.
And what would you hope to learn from them?
Just history.
Right. From their very specific tortoise perspective. Other emails. We've had a lot of questions about time travel. People are fascinated about your approach to time travel. And I know we've talked about this in the past, but this is a very specific time travel question. If you had a time machine, Karl, to what event in your childhood would you travel back to and why?
What's the point in going back to things that you thought? No, it's just that it's never as good, is it? It's like a place you go on holiday, and you go back thinking it'll be as good as the first time. It never is. So I don't believe in going back to places.
What do you understand the question as? Do you think they're asking, would you go back like a ghost and spy? Would you go back and you've got your childhood back? You are that child again. You're in the body. You are the child, or you've got your adult head and experiences. On, you know,
Rick, I really don't think Karl was thinking there was any of those variations. Let's be honest. But now that you've flagged him up,
I think he was thinking of him as he is now in school with a cap on.
yeah.
But
Too big for the chairs.
yeah. Come on.
No, I don't think I would go back. It's all happened now, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's an email for our own amusement.
Well, okay.
Choose an event. Okay, forget the time travel thing.
No, hang on. I think let's clarify one of Ricky's points. What if you could go back and you could live that moment again? How would you do it differently?
There's been times where I've gone, oh, that was a bit out of order or whatever. But then you learn from your mistakes, don't you? So I don't want to go back and change stuff, because it's like that thing that they go on about, innit, where they blame the butterfly on an earthquake. You know, it's going to happen. If it wasn't that butterfly, it's another one. So why pass the buck, is what I'm saying.
So you've got no regrets. There's nothing in your past you'd want to change or do differently?
What about if you went back and you spied like a ghost on something? You couldn't change anything, but you could have a look at something and just sort of look like
what?
like Ebenezer Scrooge does at the Ghost of Christmas Past. He goes back and he's sort of like looking at himself dancing and stuff. What would you do? What would you go back and have a look at?
Yeah, but you're asking me to change. I don't want to change.
You're not changing, you're just observing.
It's impossible.
All right,
this question, it's not going to happen. You're not going to have to do this. It's impossible.
Right, yeah, I nearly died once, didn't I, on an ice pop.
Right.
Right. Now, maybe if I would have died, I'd say, well, let's go back to that, and I won't have an ice pop.
You wouldn't be doing the podcast if you'd have died. You wouldn't be having this email put to you. What are you
That's absurd.
about?
You're now saying you're rewriting history and then going back to change it.
Yeah.
There's no need. You didn't die.
And we've changed it. You can't change anything. You're just going to go back and watch them. Would you like to go back and watch yourself choking on a Mr. Freeze?
No, that's what I'm saying. That's why I wouldn't go back now, because I'm all right. I haven't had one since. I've learnt a lesson. I'm not missing them ice pops. So
I don't think you're making the most of this opportunity to fantasise.
I don't see the point in going back in anything. I mean, do you mean go back in time to the point of you can see, like, Rome in its working day?
What, in your childhood? Was Rome about when in your childhood? Were there gladiators in your childhood?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Everything I've been through, so why see it again?
Forget it. It was just a nice little question.
I mean, that shows the lack of imagination in Karl Pilkington. Your mind can't fathom something unless it's, like, you know, got two heads.
But I don't see the point in doing something twice. Because the thing is, say if there's one good moment when I was about 6 that I loved, I'd then have to go through all the other 20 years. Again.
Well, why? Why have you imposed that? This is a fantasy. Make up.
You could go back and come back again.
Yeah, whiz back and fast forward 35 years.
Nah.
Brilliant. No. Like it was on offer. Like this was really on offer. Move on.
Migrant workers in South China are wearing adult diapers on packed trains heading home for the New Year holiday because they've got no access to the toilet. Many supermarkets in this particular part of China have reported a 50% increase in sales of adult nappies for the train trips. Now, what do you make of that, Karl? You're on a long, long train journey, 3 hours, 4 hours.
You know there's no toilet. You know you're going to need to go. Pop on a...
Why isn't there any toilets?
They just aren't on the trains.
And they're a really long journey.
Yeah.
How long?
Hours.
Well, very long in China. It's a big country.
I couldn't do that. I couldn't do it. I'd have to hold it in or something. Just like, I mean, when I was a young kid, I don't know how young you are when you wear a nappy and that, but I remember that I didn't like it, doing it in a pair of pants like that, a pair of nappies and that. And I used to have to, even when I was too small to sort of get up on the toilet and that, because you'd fall in. My mum knew that I didn't like nappies and that. I used to just go in the corner, just near the kitchen, in this thing that, like a litter tray. And I'd go there, and I'd do my thing. And, you know, my mum used to say, oh, he's going there, don't look at him and that, because it put me off. You know, like cats don't like being watched when they do it.
when they go in their litter tray in the kitchen.
No, they don't. They don't like it. I
Look,
tested it
what
again.
are you, just like a little feral kid, just running around and going to the litter tray, covering it up, and then running up the curtain and eating a sweet at the top of the pelmet?
No, but nobody likes being watched, and that's what I'm saying. If you're sat on a train and you're knocking one out and that, and everyone's looking at you, I don't think it'll catch on.
Well, it has caught on.
They're
all doing it. They're just sitting there. They're doing, they're reading the paper, doing Sudoku, and they're looking round when they're going. They're thinking, oh, no one knows I'm going. And everyone's thinking that, and everyone's going.
I mean, what are we getting to? You know what I mean? What's going on in the world that this is happening?
I know.
I mean, people have always had to travel for ages. I just don't understand why there isn't a toilet on it. We're going backwards. We're going backwards. Aren't we? Why isn't there a toilet on it?
Well, maybe there is, but maybe people are thinking the queue is going to take forever. If you've got 125 million people
Yeah, but
going
not
back.
everybody wants to go at once. I mean, I know Chinese and all that are like at the forefront of everything that goes on in the world, inventing stuff first, but this isn't one of the best that they've come up with.
What have they invented then, the Chinese? Just
Loads of stuff, haven't they?
Yeah, well,
Loads
I
of stuff.
was going to ask you. You seemed quite educated on the subject. What?
They did them cat mop things that I told you about.
Brilliant. I mean,
This was where you put mops on the feet of cats, was that right?
Yeah. And they
Brilliant.
wander about the house, clean up and that, wash the floor for you whilst they're pottering about. They've done like hats with umbrellas on them. They've done. I mean, they're known for like coming up with stuff first.
Yeah, I mean, my first thought was gunpowder, but yeah, cats with mops is good as well.
Of course, as ever, lots of questions for Karl as well, just to sort of try and tap into his brain, see what's going on there. Question from Jade. Karl, what would you change if you were in charge of what kids are taught in school? Right, because, I mean, your school experience was a bit iffy. You got very bored, didn't you? You got very disillusioned by school.
Yeah. What I'd do, right, is instead of sort of teaching kids about 2 and 2 and that, which is 4, right?
Well done.
Show off.
I think they should be asked more questions that make them think rather than something that has just got an answer,
I totally agree.
right? So,
To teaching them the quest for knowledge, inflaming their
but
imagination.
just freaking them out a bit as well, just going like...
See, I knew that's where it was going. Because as soon as you started talking, Rick, I was thinking you're thinking some of the big existential or philosophical questions. You know, does it mean to be human? What does it mean to interact with other humans? To be a human.
Or teaching them sort of like philosophy on a basic level, that, teaching them the love for learning. So, get them back to a roots level so they want to learn and then they will learn, as opposed to just teaching them facts.
Whereas...
He was thinking, freak them out a bit.
Yeah.
No, just like, like I read the other day, and someone sent it in on email, like how there's a dishwasher that's been found on Mars.
Rubbish.
Whoa, what?
But it's not true.
So tell them that.
But it's not true.
Go home and write about it. How did that happen?
But it didn't happen.
Well, it did happen. It was in a science magazine.
No, it didn't happen. There's not a dishwasher on Mars.
Why not?
Because...
What do you mean, why not?
How did it get there?
But we're always sending like rubbish out there and that. It's like
Not dishwashers. What, you think the council take it away and they go, where can we put it? Well, the tip's full. Well, where's the nearest thing we can dump this? Mars, I imagine.
No, but the same way that fella who, I don't know, was it 2 Christmases ago when he was messing about saying I can get stuff to Mars and all that. He did it wrong because he did it on like Boxing Day, and I just think nobody's concentrating. No one wants to work on that day. It's kind of like, do you know what I mean? They're going to do stuff sort of half-arsed, aren't they, on Boxing Day? So it didn't really get there, I don't think, but it crash-landed.
What are you talking about? What was he trying to do?
He was sending something up to Mars.
Yeah,
Who
that little fella that wanted to get something on Mars, and it got...
probe, you mean?
And it didn't open properly.
Yeah.
It got there, didn't it?
But the thing is, it got there, it didn't open properly. No one's been back to pick it up. And what I'm saying is, we're saying about going to Mars as our next planet. It's a tip. There's loads of stuff that's been flirted up there.
No, it's not.
What are you talking about?
It's just all, like, that probe thing is still there, rotting away.
Yeah. So, ipso facto, there is a dishwasher on Mars. We've settled that. Why would they have a dishwasher on Mars? Would they take the dishwasher up in the space shuttle in case they had dinner parties? What are you talking about?
I just think they would have a little dishwasher in there. There's a lot of them, tight space. You don't want to, who's going to do that? That means...
Do you know how much fuel it takes to move a kilogram
Yeah.
out of the Earth's atmosphere? So they're going to take up a dishwasher, are they?
Sorry, but what are they cooking up there, Karl?
How many people does it take to fly a rocket?
I...
How many people? Tell me how many people.
Well, it's either one monkey with a banana shoot that feeds it, or probably 2 or 3 humans.
Right, say it's 3 humans.
Yeah.
Now, there's 3 humans because they need one to steer it.
One
another
to stop at the petrol station to
but
get
what,
more.
What I'm saying is, if you're going to start having a sink, then whoever's
They
washing
haven't got
up...
a sink.
I know, because they've got a dishwasher.
He's got you there.
But anyway, I'm not going to go into that. But all I'm saying is teach kids things about... Say to them, right, when you go home tonight, there was dinosaurs knocking about ages ago. How would you have lived with them? Get on with it. See you later.
Well, they didn't. I've told you this before. You got a lot of your information from the Flintstones and 1 million years BC with Raquel Welch. There weren't dinosaurs knocking around where there were little fellas knocking around in furry pants.
No, but just sort of saying to them, all right, then, here's a different question.
Go on then.
Would it be better to have dinosaurs knocking about now whilst we're here? Because I put that in my diary the other day, that when you think about it, there's a population problem.
Yeah.
There's too many of us.
Yeah.
We're saving people all the time. No one's allowed to get injured anymore. You've got to, wear a helmet when you're on a bike. There's speed bumps to slow people down. Zebra crossing. Cures for illnesses. No one's dying anymore, right?
Well, I think they are.
Not as many as they should be, because the world's crowded. All I'm saying
I
is
think there's still people dying. I think there's still people dying.
not that many, though.
Yeah, I think there's still millions of people dying.
Apparently, a handful.
Loads of people are living longer. And that's a problem. So
So
what
you
I'm saying
feel that
is,
you should introduce Tyrannosaurus Rex into,
wandering
say,
wandering
London, just have him wandering around, just picking people off.
that's what just sort of random and that, because I don't know. I mean, I'm not wishing that anyone I know dies and that, but all I'm saying is I don't know anyone who's died for ages.
Right.
Whereas if a dinosaur was knocking about, you'd go, Neil's gone missing.
Yeah.
And
And
you go,
Nora's
that's-
had her head bitten off by a...
Whatever. I just think then it is survival of the fittest, which is we've lost all that now. You don't even have to be fit to survive. They just keep sticking a new lung on you. Or, do you know what I mean? They can do too much now to keep people going.
just keep sticking a new lung on you.
Question from Kevin. He says, Karl, other than the famous boxing match that you've often talked about, I know that took up about 20 minutes of your time, have you ever been in any other kind of fight? I don't suppose a slanging match. I think they're talking, have you ever been in a physical fight?
Once that I can remember. It was over a woman. Well, a girl. I was at school.
Yeah.
And it was because, like, it's hassle, innit? Right? Relationships when you're younger. 'Cause
How
you're
old were
not-
you?
About 7.
It was over a woman.
Go on then. Yeah, go on.
And there was this girl knocking about who, she was quite good looking, everybody liked. And my mate, he really liked her. And I didn't sort of ask her out on that, but she just sort of took a shine to me and stuff, right? And didn't really go out with her properly. It's at that age where going out with someone is just like sort of going, all right, in the morning, do you know what I mean? You just sort of nod your head
Yeah.
and that. Anyway, there was some sort of school disco, and they were playing Spin the Bottle or something, right? And I sort of wandered over to see what was going on, and I stood on this girl's dress and put a hole in it. And she started crying. I was like, oh, I can't be dealing with this, right? What's up with you? It's old, what's up with you? And everyone's going, Karl, what are you doing? That's meant to be your girlfriend and that. You should be sort of saying, oh, I'm sorry, and giving her a hug and all that, and saying it'll be all right, we'll sort the dress out. I said, oh, I can't be dealing with this. Right? So she's crying her eyes out. I said, it's over, right?
Oh, it's over, you saying, all right, in the morning. Yeah.
No more of that.
Yeah, there's no more. Right. In the morning.
So I go to the toilet, right? And this lad who fancies her comes in and goes, you're out of order, And I'm saying, what are you on about?
Sorry, there's 2 7-year-olds.
seven-year-olds.
You're out of order. Keep out.
Cut it out. Show her a bit of bloody respect.
Sorry, were you wearing trilbies?
Yeah. He put his cigarette out in the sink and he just said, leave it.
Get out of my face.
So I just sort of said, look, why are you getting involved and all that?
Yeah.
2 7-year-olds. Why are you getting involved?
And it was obviously like because he fancied her and that. We had a bit of a fight in there. I accidentally sort of chipped his tooth on a sink.
Wow, is it like a proper...
Sorry, this is like someone from Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? 2 7-year-olds in a toilet.
So you put a hole in her dress. I don't know how that happened. What were you wearing,
I just
football
stood on
boots?
it.
How did you make a hole in her dress?
I don't know. It was like that sort of material.
You were
like,
wearing winkle pickers.
like crepe. You know what I mean? It was like a crepe dress or something.
Yeah.
Right.
And that
So-
got a hole in it.
But, so you're having and when you say you're having a fight, I mean, are you wrestling with it? You got arm locks
a
and
little bit of
headlocks?
wrestling and shoving about and that, and it was an accident. I didn't sort of go, right, I'm going to break your teeth or anything. It's just that I happened to push his head down, and his tooth hit the sink,
Right.
and it chipped and what have you. After that, like I sort of left there and stuff, and we had to go into assembly, and there was a copper in there doing some presentation saying, "Listen, kids, don't get into trouble, because we're out there and we'll get you." Right, so sort of try to teach the kids young not to get into any trouble and stuff. So I'm sat in the assembly room thinking, oh God, there's a copper here talking, and my mate's going to come in a minute, like with a chipped tooth and everything. And
Questions are going to get asked.
That's what kind of happened. I mean, the coppers didn't get involved.
Yeah.
Did you turn your back on violence after that then?
Yeah. He said, "You'll never take me alive, copper."
So yeah, that was the sort of last fight.
Brilliant.
Some of the questions coming in now, Rick, are just, I don't know what they're intending, what response they're hoping for, really. This is one from Rob. He just says, I was just wondering, what are Karl's views on the human appendix?
What do you think, Karl? What do you think of the human appendix?
Never worried about it.
Well, no, I think Rob's point is that it's sort of pretty redundant now.
So this is kind of what we've talked about before, where...
He always says that. He always says something like, "Oh, we've talked about this before," and the thing that he's talked about is nothing like it.
What I mean is, we've obviously interfered somewhere along the way, and
Well,
we
we
shouldn't
have
done.
interfered, yeah.
Well, we shouldn't have done, because it's the same way. Like, if we didn't have planes and that, would we have wings now? If we'd have needed to get about, would we have had wings?
No, the answer's no. Next.
No, but you say that, but look at the way...
Because he's right, he says it because he's right.
No, but all I'm saying is, you see that little picture of like an ape to man.
Yeah.
At first, they're crawling about on all fours because probably you're looking for food, so you want to be down there. So
Right.
if you're on both legs, you're missing stuff that's on the floor.
What sort of time period do you think this... Because, I mean, we started, dabbling with a plane maybe 100 years ago. So what sort of time period do you think this little thing who's scrabbling around looking for food stood up and
I don't
walked?
know. I sort of don't worry about time. Sort of
Well, I'll tell you now, we
behind
wouldn't have
Rome.
wings now. If the Wright brothers had said, "Oh, forget it," we wouldn't have wings now.
What would happen? Right, here's another question. This is one that I chuck out to kids as well. We were talking about education, teaching kids stuff.
Sure.
What would happen, right? We ruin this world, right? Goes wrong and that, right? They shut it down. They go, we're moving. We go to another planet.
It's as simple as that in his world. It's as simple as that.
We can't go to Mars because it's full of stuff that used to be in Dixon's.
It's like a tip.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. So we can't go there. We go somewhere else.
Something that I've always wondered about, if we do that, do we start New Year's or do we carry on? Do you know what I mean? Do we say, oh, it's still 2006? Or do we go, it's world new, whatever, new world?
That is definitely the first priority.
It's year one. Right, we've sorted that out. Right, now...
Well, it depends, doesn't it? Because a year might not be the same on this planet.
We'd sort that out, right? We'd sort out what year it is and that.
Well, no. What I'm saying is we'd have to start again anyway, because the planet might not take 1 year as we know it to go around the sun. It might not take a day to turn. A day is a day because that's how long it takes.
But we'd have to carry on as we know, because we don't want to start doing longer days and that. Otherwise, they'll just kick off and say, "This is rubbish. This new world. What are you doing?"
No,
I'm doing a 28-hour day.
We wouldn't have a choice. A day is how long it takes the planet to turn, and a year is how long it takes that planet to go around the sun.
But a day is man-made, really. There's places in the world where they're working in the dark, isn't they, in Iceland and that? But they don't go, well, it's dark all the time, so I'll stay in bed.
Well, no, but there's still a day. It's still 24 hours in a day in Iceland.
Yeah, but we only work by that clock because that's what people use at the moment when they go, what time is it? You go, it's 20 past 11.
No. We use that because that's how long it takes the planet we're on to
I've
turn.
never worried about it like that. I've just always
Well,
gone,
no, I'm telling you,
Well, that's because you weren't asked to get involved when they came up with the idea.
I'm telling you, that's what a day is. It's how long it takes your planet to. What do you mean? The way that what?
No, I'm just saying that's fine and everything. But if when I was born, people said there's 26 hours in a day, I'd go, fair enough. I'm not going to argue.
We could have made up how long an hour is. Yeah, we could have made hours shorter and get 26
Well,
in.
they're saying they're going to do that. Because,
no, they're not.
No, they are, because there's so
not.
many people in the world.
Yeah.
This is what I was talking about before. They've got to create more jobs. The only way to have more jobs, keep shops open, take on more people. Everyone's happy.
That makes no sense at all.
Right. Say if there's 28 hours in a day.
Yeah, it'd still be 24 hours long as we used to know it.
No, you'd have like, oh, what time is it? Oh, it's like 20 past 25 or whatever.
Well, you're not making any sense at all.
No, I'm just saying...
The Earth would still take 24 hours as we know it now.
Forget it.
Hang on a minute. I want... there's more interesting territory here.
Don't forget, our sleep patterns have evolved on a day. The reason we sort of like go to sleep at night and have about 8 to 10 hours sleep is because that's our evolution.
No, but that's just because that's what we've got used to, isn't it?
Yeah.
You look at a sloth, that's asleep all the time. It's doing what
Yeah,
it
but
wants.
it evolved differently, didn't it?
Right, you can't get away. You're not getting away with this anymore. If you want to live now, join in with us.
We do, of course, Rick, every week get thousands of emails. I mean, it's Freddie from Winchester says, of course, it was recently Valentine's Day. What's the most romantic thing that you've done for Suzanne, Karl, that you can think of?
I don't really do all that.
Sure.
The Valentine's Day stuff.
It's just... The problem is, if you do it once, they expect it every year.
Yeah. Sure.
That's the problem with Christmas and stuff, innit? It's like, that's what you do now, every year.
Every day, yeah.
So I prefer to just sort of wait, you know what I mean? And you know, if I think of an idea or I know of something that she wants, I might get her something, but I might not do it on Valentine's Day. It's that thing. It's like how I've said about Pancake Tuesday. Make it Pancake Wednesday. Have it when you want. Why am I waiting? Why am I waiting for someone to tell me when I can have a pancake? I'll have it today if I want one.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas Pancake Tuesday, no, I won't bother. I'll have trifle. So it's the same with this, you know, with Suzanne. Luckily, right? I mean, Valentine's Day and what have you, she was ill.
Luckily.
So we didn't have to go out. So I'd say, is he asking for advice?
Well, I suppose, yeah, certainly you may as well give it.
Treat them when they deserve it.
All right.
I remember once when Suzanne was ill, she had a fever, but there was no food in the house. What did you suggest to her? She was too ill.
Well, it was when we were still living in Manchester and that, and you know, we needed to get some food in for tea and stuff. And I said, come to the supermarket. She was like, no, I'm ill, you go. And I hate buying food. I just sort of get a bit blank when I'm looking at it. There's too much, isn't there? That's the problem. You go down all these aisles and there's just too much. So anyway, I said, no, come with me. She was like, oh, but I've got this fever, I'm hot and everything. So I said, well, come to the supermarket, you go on the frozen aisle, cool yourself down. And she did, and she said, you know, it made it worse, she was ill for another 3 days.
How would you go about chatting up a woman in a bar? What tips could you give?
I've never worked like that. It's always been like a friend of a friend and all that, and just happened to meet them. And then, you know, you have a chat, and then...
How did you meet Suzanne?
That was when I was working with her, and she gave me 20p for the hot chocolate machine. She never asked for it back. Thought she's all right. Been there sort of 11 years, so it works.
Has she ever given you that? You've never given that 20p
Never
back?
asked for it back.
Did you return the favour, perhaps on the next date? You buy her a Kit Kat or something?
No, I don't think I did. I think word got out that she liked me and that. And what did I do? I think I did some work for her, did some editing for her, to sort of show off my skills and that.
Sure.
And she was like, oh, you're good at this, aren't you? I was like, yeah. And I think she got us another drink because I was doing that editing for her in my own time.
So you're up on the deal, aren't you? Because I know now, I know for a fact that you've not spent any money on her in 11 years, so you're 40p up.
At least. Lawrence from New York says, I was wondering how Mr. K. Pilkington would interpret this famous saying of philosopher Ludwig Wittgenstein. The quote is, if a lion could talk, we could not understand him.
Even if he's English.
Yeah, if a lion could speak English, so there's no language barrier, he's speaking English words and using all the correct grammar and everything, but you wouldn't be able to understand what he was saying.
Why?
Because it is from a different world. His frames of reference would be so bizarre that you wouldn't be able to get a grasp on what he was talking about, because you'd have so little in common, even if he used real words.
No, but he's talking English.
Yeah, no, but his reference points would be just so far removed. You know, they're removed slightly when if you saw two people talking about Kierkegaard, you'd
I wouldn't understand it.
Exactly. So remove that 1 billion times to a different species with different input.
No, but it depends. If I'm talking to a lion in London Zoo,
Yeah.
he'll be saying, oh, I'm fed up of being stuck in here. I'll go, yeah. It's like that. It depends what his background is. I mean, there's some people who might have lived down the road from me, but have a totally different life.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't matter that it's a lion, does it?
Well, yeah, because they're just trying to remove it even more. So now it's not just a bloke who lived a few doors away. Now it's not even a bloke. Now it's not even...
Yeah, but I'd pick something smaller
Right.
or something, a worm without a mouth, I'd go definitely not.
What?
Definitely not what?
I wouldn't be having a chat with it. I just think that a worm that's underground,
Yeah.
what's it got to offer me? It's blind and it hasn't got a mouth. It's not going to be a good day out with it, is what I'm saying. It's not going to have that much to say to me, even if it's English. Right?
Even if it's
And how can you tell if a worm is English? Does it wear a very tiny bowler hat?
Oh, Christ.
But do you understand?
What about a jellyfish?
No, you see, I think that's where you can say you wouldn't be able to have a good chat with them, because to me, the sea might as well be another world,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
In a way, I think the fish sort of have more rights than us,
What do you mean?
just because when whoever made the world, right?
Yeah.
Say, we're just bigging up God, but if I was to have a go at him,
Yeah.
I'd say you added too much water,
Criticism 1 to God, right?
right? So
How would you have changed that? Just
more land.
Fair enough. Now, why have fish got more rights than us? That was what I was interested in.
Because there's loads of them, and when you look at the amount of sea on the world, right? There's loads of that. You only have to like I was in Malaga the other week, right? And you look in the sea, there's loads of different fish, and that's just in like 8-foot water. If you go miles out, there's like all sorts of weird fish, isn't there, with like lights on them and everything. So, and there's just millions of different types.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
But why does that mean they've got more rights than us?
just because I think, rights come in numbers, don't they? If you know what I mean. Like, if there's one of you shouting, people go, oh, he's an idiot, shut up, whatever. If there's loads of you shouting, they go, oh, best listen to him, see what they've got to say.
Right.
And that's what I mean about fish.
Yeah.
There's loads of fish,
Right.
so
But they're not really making their voices heard, though, are they, Carl?
Yeah.
I know, because they're underwater. But what I mean is, I don't know what I mean.
Carl, right? What do you think it's like being a crab? If you could go now, your mind into a crab, what would you see? Where would you be? What would you be doing? What would you be thinking? What do you think of all the other things the crabs you'd see, the squids you'd see? What's it like, do you think? I want you to. It's like creative writing. Just think. Just let yourself go. Come on.
It's got to be a crab.
What do you think of a slug? What do you think to be a slug? What would you do if you were transported now into a slug? What would you do? And Suzanne, you're suddenly in the kitchen, but you're a slug, and Suzanne's sort of like there, just making tea and that. How do you let her know it's you?
It's impossible. I'd just chuck myself into the salt pot or something. No, because what do you do? I'd hate that. That would be horrible, that.
Oh God!
Have you ever read Franz Kafka's Metamorphosis,
Don't
in which
think
a
so.
man wakes up and he's turned into a giant beetle, and that's the whole story. I think it might be of interest to you.
So what happened to him with the beetle?
Well, I don't want to ruin it for you in case you
No,
read it.
I
but
won't be
it's,
reading it, don't worry.
He joined a pop group with 3 other people. He was brilliant.
No, it's a really wonderful book. It's a kind of almost heartbreaking because, of course, he does, like Ricky's saying, he finds it very hard then to relate to other people, even though he still has the consciousness of a human. His parents, his rest of his family, they don't know how to deal with him, because he's a giant beetle. He becomes a freak, he becomes an outsider. It's terrible,
But hang on, though. Is he a giant beetle? Or
Yeah.
is he... Well, yeah, that's not going to go down well, is it? That, of course, people aren't going to like you. But if it's a normal-sized one, then you just get in with the other beetles, don't you? Whereas if you're
But
a
you'd be
giant...
sort of
How would you do that? How would you ingratiate yourself? Right, so you're suddenly a beetle, you're Karl Pilkington, right? There's other people, they're doing their business, they're scuttling around, and you go in there and they look at you as a new beetle. What's your first, what do you do? How do you ingratiate yourself?
Well, for a bit, I wouldn't sort of barge into their house and that. I'd wait until they're out and about, and I'd like in life, right? Sort of help them out. I don't know what beetles do all day. I've never seen one doing anything. They just seem to be going from one place to another.
Right.
I've never seen them carrying anything. I don't know what they eat. I don't know what they do. I don't know why we've got them, right? But what I mean is, I'd watch them and I'd sort of help them out. And, I mean, it's like going on a date or meeting a woman, isn't it?
But what if there is
Whoa,
a
hang on, what do you mean? How is it like going on a date with a woman?
Well, it's like I said about Suzanne with her hot chocolate. She bought me that and I've gone, she's all right. Right? She gets me another one. Before I know it, she's living with me. So,
So you're all these beetles, they're scrubbing around, right? You're sort of like watching them, and then you realise that you want to mate with this female beetle. What do you do? What's your first move?
Yeah, but I don't know what beetles do I? So I don't know how what you do. I don't know if you go up and go, all right. What do they do? How do they get on?
Well,
It's a different world. I don't know yet, do I? Because I haven't done it.
would you feel bad because having your own mind in this beetle, right? Would you feel bad shagging a beetle? Would you feel that was a bit sick because you've got a human mind?
Well, no, because you just close your eyes and that, wouldn't you? Think of something else. So get round it that way. There's no point getting down about it because I'm stuck now as a beetle. So you've got to get on with it.
But if you're a slug, you said you'd throw yourself in the salt pot. What would you do if you were a beetle if you got depressed? And you see all the other humans.
No,
you see
but-
your mates, right? They're listening to the iPod. What would you do?
But no, that's what I'm saying. No, beetles are different because they do tend to hang about with each other. A slug's always on its own. It's a lonely insect, isn't it?
It's not an insect.
All right, what is it?
A mollusk.
Right, they're lonely. I've never seen a load of snails all together or slugs wandering about, whereas beetles seem to knock about in crowds.
Yeah.
So, oh God. Okay, right, another one.
So they're sociable creatures, and it wouldn't bother you that you've got the mind of Karl Pilkington in there? Because you can't communicate with these people,
What if
because they
you're-
don't speak English. They don't have any communication with you.
Yeah, but if it's happened to me, there'll be another one in there.
Okay then. Right. Okay. What would you do? Right. That's the most disgusting thing. What could it be? Right. What would you do? Right. If you were suddenly a fly, right, and you were knocking around with the flies, right, and you had to land on some,
Excrement?
yeah. What would you do?
Yeah, but I don't have to.
What do you mean? You're a fly.
Yeah,
You're
but I
loving
wouldn't. No, I wouldn't be loving it, though, would I?
it. Why?
Because I'm me in that fly's head. So I don't think other flies would be going, come on, join in. I'd just be like, no, I'll wait here, wait, watch and that. Because I don't see why they have to do that.
What would you do, right, if you had to go back and you were in a, had to go and put your mind in like the, an unhatched egg of something, like maybe one of those, that a wasp was injected in a spider. So you know you're in an egg, right, which is really uncomfortable, in a spider. How would you feel about that, Karl? You're a baby wasp in the abdomen of a spider.
And I know everything that I know now. I'm sat in there.
Yeah. And now I'm in a spider as an unborn wasp. What the fuck am I doing here? What's going on?
I don't know what I'd do there. Probably try and sleep. There's nothing else to do, though, is there?
I just pray to God it never happens. Remember we were talking a while back about the questionnaire that is often featured at the end of the TV programme Inside the Actor's Studio.
Oh, yeah.
Where the host, James Lipton, always asks the same questions to every guest. And it's just supposed to sort of, get their creative, juices flowing, their mind working. We did ask Karl some of them. We never completed the questionnaire.
Oh, let's
I thought
carry
I'd
on with
fire
that
a few
then.
more at him.
And that'll also introduce people to the way his mind works a little bit. Okay.
What sound or noise do you love, Karl?
There isn't really one that I love. Nice noises,
Yeah.
like the ones you get. Like I like going in the park, right? And you go, oh, that's nice, isn't it? And you get like bird noises and stuff. But with those bird noises comes a bit of stress, right? Because I was in there the other day, and like I say, little bird noises and that, and a little robin was there, and I thought that's odd. That's out early, right? Because it's like sort of summertime and that.
Sure.
And then I thought, oh, that's nice. And I was watching it, and then it got like a little worm, right? And I was like, hey, put it down, right?
Sorry, whoa! What do you mean?
Because
Why
I
are you
didn't-
interfering? Why were you interfering
In nature.
with a robin taking a worm?
Just because it was a nice sunny day and that, and I thought, you see, worms normally come out when it's raining, don't they? And you go, well, I bet they're happy to die, in a way, because it's chucking it down, it's miserable. They come to the top of the soil then, don't they?
Yeah.
When it's miserable. But it was a sunny day.
That's they don't drown, I assume.
No, it's not that, is it? It's just that they hear the water or something falling on the ground and they go up to see what's happening.
What? No way. But why do they come up when they think it's raining? You're a worm, okay? It starts raining. Tell me your thought process.
Well, you just you're down there, you can't see anything, it's dark anyway.
Yeah.
So the rain's coming down on the land, the worm goes, what's going on?
The worm goes, what's going on?
He wiggles up to the top.
So what does he do?
So it goes up and it sort of sees it's raining, and then it goes back down again, doesn't it? But that's what I'm saying about.
What do you mean? What is this world where it goes, oh, it's just rain again? Oh, so that's the 400th time I've been caught out this year. It's rain. I'll remember next time. I won't come up. What do you think a worm is capable of in terms of cognitive thought?
What do you mean?
Well, a worm can basically tell certain chemicals and certain light patterns. That's all it is, really.
Yeah, and
It's not thinking, it's not choosing its favourite food.
you don't know that, though, is what I'm saying. You don't know what things are thinking. Everything thinks.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No. The thinking...
There's something in this room that's not.
All right, what about this one, then? What about flowers? Do you think they've got
A mind.
a feeling? Because here's something that...
Again, they use phototropism. They go towards the sun. They close and
All right,
open.
well, here's-
Can you
They
stop
grow.
using long words, Rick, like sun?
Listen, do you know I've been to my mum and dad's, right? I was
Yeah.
talking to my mum about stuff,
All right.
and she was saying how this flower solved a crime. What happened was, there was a murder, right, in an office. So they said it's obvious that someone who works in the office did this murder because that person was only a sort of a typist. They've done nothing wrong. So they said, that's narrowed it down, right? So this flower man came in and he said, I can sort this out for you. So they said, what do you mean? He said, well, during the murder, the plant was knocked off the cabinet,
Yeah.
Right.
and he had some special wires that he can put
Special
on the
wires,
flower,
yeah.
on the flower, and it's sort of shaking and stuff. Because even though you can't see it, flowers pick up bad vibes and what have you. If you shake a plant, it doesn't like it.
Okay.
Right? So what happened was, he said, right, what we'll do, we'll put the plant back on the shelf.
Yep.
We'll water it. We'll calm it down. Then get
Give it a nice cup of tea.
every member of staff
Right.
to come in the room
Yeah.
and just go near the flower.
Right.
So don't tell them.
So like a lineup for the flower.
kind
Yeah.
of.
Kind of like a
Yeah.
lineup.
But
sure.
don't tell them what we're doing. Just send them in
No.
and say, stand by that cabinet where
Yeah.
the murder happened and what have you.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was a long day. They were getting through a lot of stuff. It was a big office block.
Yeah.
They were going, this isn't working. The flower's not budging. Suddenly, they get into like the last part of the day when they were almost giving up.
They call in a sketch artist. The plant gives them a...
Some caretaker fella
Caretaker, yeah.
said, go over there.
Was it?
You
Was
know,
it an
so-
old man that? I mean, because Scooby-Doo didn't like him from the beginning.
No.
They send the caretaker over to the plant. He's going, he's thinking, I've got away with this.
Of course.
Plant starts shaking, what have you. They did him.
Okay. Wait a minute then. So, was there any other evidence?
Was that the only evidence they used in the trial?
Well, no, it's one of them things, though. Imagine it, if you're that caretaker and you're thinking, I've got away with this, then suddenly a plant grasses you up. You weren't expecting that. So suddenly you're off guard.
And you go, okay, can't get that chrysanthemum away from me, I did it. You're talking absolute bollocks. That was one of the most nonsense pieces of shit I've ever heard
But
in my
anyway,
life.
listen, well, it happened, but...
It didn't
dropped up because you
happen.
said it. But what I was saying is, about the worm, this robin that I saw that was eating the worm, it had hold of it, and I thought it's a sunny day and that, give the worm a break sort of thing. So I went, oh, like that, and it sort of dropped it in shock. But then when it realised I wasn't that near it, it picked it up again and swallowed it. And I just thought, oh... Do you know what I mean?
I don't know what you mean, no.
I just thought it's a sunny day and everything. Normally birds are nice noises that I like, and yet there it is going about wrecking lives.
Wrecking lives! It was a
But it just swallowed it really quickly in that, and I just thought, there's the worm. It came out, it was happy, didn't know what was going on, and it had an extra chance. The robin dropped it, and then it got it again and ate it, and I just made me a bit fed up.
Well, do you know why, don't you? You couldn't outwit a robin. The worm was going, oh, God, Karl Pilkington. So that's who's been sent to save me, is it, God? You've sent Karl Pilkington, oh, I'm dead. That's it, OK, eat me.
But all I'm saying is our bird noises are normally quite relaxing, but not for the worm.
Unbelievable. That was one question.
What sound or noise do you hate?
As me or as a worm?
I don't know what you mean. What do you mean?
Why would we be asking a worm?
I've never heard an actor say that to James Lipton. When he says, what noise do you hate? What, as me or a worm?
No, but
Wow.
all I'm saying is because of my last question, that's what I was saying. A bird noise is relaxing to me.
Right.
Well, it's not anymore because I think of all the deaths and stuff that go around that.
So now you hate the sound of birds?
I'm just saying it's changed my view on it. It's
So
it's like anything, isn't it? Every noise can mean a disaster.
Can it? Why would the sound of laughter, people laughing, why would that also signify disaster?
If you wake up in the night by the sound of, like, a baby laughing,
Baby
laughing?
No, if I had a baby, right, and Suzanne was out, she'd work nights or something, and I'd nodded off, I'd put the baby to sleep, and then it's 3 a.m. and I'm woken up by the sound of a baby laughing, that would terrify me.
How is this that? I just think the baby's sitting up in a chair like Chucky, going.
Well, no, I think the baby's reading his diary. Thinking, oh, Christ, this is my father. I just hope I'm adopted.
Oh, God, a baby laughing.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
This is you, not as you as a worm.
But have I had the training?
Oh, for
Oh.
No, well, I've said before, haven't I, about maybe having a go at an operation.
I don't know why it leaps from where. It leaps from no ambition, where if he could have a job, it would his best job he's ever had is a paper round, and if he could have a job, he'd like go to the cobbler once a week and then walk a dog. To I'd like to have a go at thoracic surgery.
No, I'm just saying, I bet it's like we do this, and, you know, some people like listening to it and what have you, and you go, fair enough, but I never feel like I'm doing anything of any worth.
No, you're absolutely right there.
But if you're going into like an hospital, which are places that are pretty miserable anyway, as an office space, not only have you got to go in that building and work in it, but you've then got the pressure of changing a lung or whatever I've said before. Right?
Changing a lung, yeah.
But I'd like to have a go at it so I can say
You've done it.
I've done that.
So, under what circumstances, in what world, do you think anyone's going to let you have a go at changing a lung and that? Jim will fix it.
No, I'm just saying the
Comic
way,
relief.
but the way the world is, and the way that there's more and more people, more and more doctors are needed. I mean, it's already happening now that people are doing jobs that they're not really qualified for because they get sort of what's the word? Sort of uppered too early.
Upward.
Upward! I love the fact it's basic language. It's like it's unbelievable. Upward.
Do you know what I mean?
Promoted.
Yeah, promoted.
Yeah.
They get promoted.
I
too
prefer
early.
upward.
Upward's great.
So
Why was I not upward? Unbelievable.
So do you know what I mean? I think because more and more people are knocking about, we need more and more doctors.
Yeah.
You get a job in a doctor's, you're going to be promoted sooner now, I think.
Yeah. Well, what I'd do is I'd probably upper you, and then what's the word? You go away them.
I think it is you go away them.
You leave the door. You leave the door. You fire them. That's it. That's the word I'm looking for. So I'd upper you and go away the doctor, if anything.
But I've been to, you know how I don't like going to the doctors and stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Because you're always scared that they might investigate below the bridge.
Yeah, but I checked on that before. I signed up to it, and then they said, right, before we can take you on as a patient, you've got to have a health check, right? Which I thought was odd, because it's almost like saying, if you're ill, we can't be having you coming here, right? But I said, right, OK, fair enough, what is this health check? And they said, oh, you know, we just check your body out and make sure you're fit and healthy. And I thought, that isn't enough information. You know, I want to know if it's the old finger trick. And I said, what do you mean, though, when you said health check, what do you do? And she said, oh, it's just, I think she knew what I was getting at. And she said, oh, it's just the blood pressure, your height, your weight. That's about it. So I went and had it and stuff. But you had to, before you sort of said, right, I want this doctor, they give you loads of forms to fill out, right? And one of the things they did was, if you die, what do you want to give away, right? Like a donor.
Mm.
And what have you, and I thought, I really thought about it for 40 minutes or so. I didn't just rush into it. I was sat there thinking, you know, if I'm dead, does it matter and stuff? But I was really concerned when it said about the eyes.
Right.
Right. Why? What do you mean? What? Because can they have your eyes after you die?
It was. I think it was fourth on the list.
Why do you care about giving your eyes away when you're dead?
Just because of that thing of, you know, we don't know for sure yet. I know that you poo-poo it, but the afterlife thing.
So why, in an afterlife, would you want your eyes more than your liver and your kidneys and your lungs and your heart?
Because ghosts don't eat, do they? So you don't need all your liver and your kidneys and stuff, because they're only there to sort your food out. But your eyes, if you're a ghost, I don't want to be a blind ghost. Because you're around forever then, aren't you? Once you're a ghost, that's it. So the idea of being blind when you're alive, you go, well, all right, then maybe in the afterlife I might be treated to a pair of eyes. But the fact of wandering about, dead for years, bumping into stuff...
Oh, God! Oh, it's amazing!
So
that's an amazing image.
so I didn't tick that box.
But why? I don't understand. In your theory of the afterlife, why is it that this ghostly Karl, why can he survive without a heart, but he can't survive without eyes? Why? Do you see what I mean? Surely, if you're this ghostly apparition, you can just see everything and you can do everything. You don't need the body.
No,
because you're a ghost.
Yeah, I know, but I think when you're a ghost, say like how they've seen ghosts in.
Right, could I just say now for any listeners, this is not the thoughts and beliefs of the management. There is no such thing as ghosts. I do not believe in ghosts. I do not believe in ESP or any mumbo-jumbo. Carry on, Karl. So when there's a ghost, yeah.
When they see ghosts in, like, old castles and stuff,
Yeah.
they've had their head cut off because they've been up to no good, like, years ago.
But they're carrying it around normally under their arm.
That's what I'm saying. It hasn't reattached itself. So if you take the eyes out...
But Karl, how is this ghostly creature able to function? It doesn't have its head on anyway. It's carrying it under its arm. So the suspicion is it doesn't need its head.
No, it does.
It just happens to be carrying it around because it wants to keep it with it.
The ghost is always in the last condition that it was in when it was in...
Who makes these rules?
The way you are in your last bit of life is how you are as a ghost forever, even in the fashion. Like I say, the ghosts that you see never wear modern clothes, so it's always the Victorian stuff. Now, if they could change it, they would, but they can't because they're stuck with it. So that's
Why
what
did you see cavemen ghosts? When did ghosts start? They didn't kick in till about 1830, did they? What if you die when you're having a rectal examination? Are you always bent forward with your trousers around your ankles and someone's finger up your
But
arse?
why would you die when you're having that done? That's why I'm not having it done, if that's...
No. But you might have both been suddenly killed in a terrible disaster.
Yeah, a meteorite hit you.
That's when you get the moaning ghosts, isn't it? They're the ones who aren't happy.
So you're going round, bent forward, you've got a doctor's finger up your arse,
Yeah.
and what are you doing?
You're sort of going, oh... And that's when you have to get the vicar round.
What do you mean?
They have to put you to rest and what have you, don't they?
And what does a vicar do when he's going? So I get the vicar round. It's years later. It's 100 years later. You're around this doctor's surgery, and there's people coming, and the new doctor there, and it's 2073, and they go, Vicar. They go, Vicar, there's a strange ghostly apparition. It looks like an old doctor, right? And he's got his fingers up this sort of like little... It's like a chimpanzee, but with a shaved head.
No, but the doctor wouldn't be... Are you saying the doctor dies as well?
Yeah,
As you?
you both die. You die at the same time with his finger up your ass. And so you're forever having a little rectal examination with your little trousers around your ankles.
Well, that's when it'd be best not to have your eyes.
Questions for Karl, just to sort of try and tap into his brain, see what's going on there.
Yeah.
The questionnaire that is often featured at the end of the TV programme Inside the Actor's Studio. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Is that how it works?
Oh.
No,
What do you mean? What's the question?
Well, I don't know. Do you hear so many other things that you have to go through other gates? I can't imagine him being on the door, is what I'm saying. If he owns a place, what's he doing there? He could put anyone on it.
It's St. Peter, isn't it, who's normally minding the gates, famously.
Right, so it's him asking me.
OK, well, let's say it's St. Peter.
No. You go through the gate. Peter goes, oh, you're expected. He's got an appointment. We're going through to God. Go through a few doors. Go up top floor. Right, past the executive washroom into his big office. OK, that overlooks the universe.
So what?
So you've gone in to see God. It's an audience with God. You've died. You've gone to heaven. And what would you like God to say to you at that point?
Probably just say, you've done well in that in your life. You never did anybody any harm. So, welcome to heaven. Any problems, give us a shout. Here's a little layout of like a little map. It's kind of like...
I love this. This is a great answer. And my favourite one is you never did anyone any harm. That's great. That's a brilliant thing for God to say.
Yeah.
So hang on, he's giving you a little map.
So he's got a little map of the area. It's
And
big.
he'll sort of say, this is where you go for this is where you go for that. I'd probably ask him about the ghost situation. I'd say, am I now a ghost then? Or is this just like another planet that I've come onto?
Right.
I don't know if he'd answer that. I don't know if he'd be sort of a bit...
Bit cagey.
Yeah, a little bit like, well, I don't want to panic you and stuff. I'd say, right, is it right that I can see past family and that? Because to be honest, I'd probably prefer to stay away.
He doesn't even want to.
No, but because the thing is, if
That's
you've done
amazing.
I've done all that in this life, so it's about moving on to another life and meeting different people, isn't it?
Yeah.
Otherwise, what's the point? It's just
Yeah.
like the same all over again, but everywhere's white. I mean, I don't know if it is like
Do you
this.
think God would like this podcast?
Well, I suppose it just kills half an hour, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, but time's not a problem for him, is it?
Yeah, it is, because he lives for ages, so he needs loads of filler. I bet he's, doing stuff that is just like, I'm not really into this, but it's something to do, isn't it?
Sudoku and stuff.
But I think there'll be just as many problems up there as there is here, because at least people are leaving here, whereas up there, that's the thing that I'd be worried about the most, actually, that it's really crowded. Because it's years and years of dead people, isn't it? London does me head in. Up there, it's going to be well busier than that.
What about teenagers, and do you feel that life was better in, say, the 1950s?
I don't know, I wasn't around. So
But you understand what it was like in those days. You've seen happy days.
I don't know, people always say, don't they? Old people always say, it's a better life in the 50s. And it's like, yeah, it was for them. Of course it was for them. They're old now. Being old isn't great, is it? So you're just happy with your lot. I suppose I was happiest in about 1984.
Quite a specific year.
Why?
It
Why
was
was that?
just I was free and happy. Do you know what I mean?
How old were you?
I don't know.
He's just counting on his fingers now.
12.
Right, okay.
And it was just good.
So the happiest days of your life were between the age of 12 and 13?
Yeah, it was good. I had the world ahead of me.
Little did you know your hair was going to fall out and you were going to whinge every minute of the day.
I had my bike. I like messing about my bike. You had your mates. I had a pet magpie.
So you were probably the teenager that you eventually hate?
Probably.
Were you a good lad, law-abiding?
I wasn't bad. I just sort of, just potted about. I mean, when people talk about what was on the telly back then, I don't have that much memory of it because I was always out. I was always playing out.
What were you doing when you were out?
Just playing about, just like on a bike or...
Just riding in a circle endlessly
Tell
through
you,
blizzards,
I loved it.
rain, sleet,
Loved it.
hail.
I never seemed to be in. I was always... When everyone always goes, where were you when Band-Aid was happening? I was always out on my bike. And everything was
Like you and McGregor?
A memory's always sort of like coming in for some orange and looking at the telly and seeing Princess Diana's getting married, and my mum says, have you seen this? And I'm going, oh, I'm going out on my bike. I was always doing that. The only time I was in my house...
This is why you don't know anything, because you never stopped.
Yeah, but this is what being a kid's about.
But
That's
all
what I
the
mean, being
information
free.
you have, Carl, is as though you've gleaned it as you raced by on a bike. It's almost like, every piece of information you have.
Your hair blowing in the wind. Carl, your hair will blow out one day. Oh, don't talk stupid, ma'am.
was easy. So yeah, 12 to 13 was good.
But you see...
And it was all downhill from then, was it?
13, you're a teenager then, aren't you? Life got tough.
Yeah. How did it get tough?
Just straight away when I was 13, my mum was like, oh, it's your 13th birthday, you're a teenager now.
Right.
And she gave us a quid to go and get a cake to celebrate it. Went to the supermarket, got a cake, and I just thought, I don't like the look of this. Don't like the look of the way the future is here.
On his 13th birthday!
Well, you were buying a cake. What did you see at the supermarket?
It was kind of like, I don't know, I suddenly felt grown up. I didn't like it.
But I think you were always about 58, really, with your outlook.
Well, yeah, my mum always said I was old. She said I was an old baby. She said I could frown before I could walk. So they always had a bit of a worry look on my face. Didn't say much, just always listened. My eyes moved about more than I did. Just sat there looking around, looking stressed.
My eyes moved about more than I did. Oh dear, couldn't walk. Well, I can't walk, but I'll try and get a bit of movement in my face. It's a workout, a baby workout. Oh, babies, well, if you can't walk, what about your face? Let your face do the walking.
It sounds like that horror film. It sounds like Pilkington's Baby.
Yeah.
Just you lying there in your cot.
I didn't like all the stuff that's set up for you. Like, my mum tried to send me to, like, a nursery. I said, no, I'm not having this.
Just like that.
I said when I'm older and I've got to go, I'll go, but let's leave out this bit. And she said, all right. She was...
I love the fact he could reason with her. I love him. He's 3 years old with a pipe. She's going, you go to the nurse. She goes, I think not, Mum.
I mean, kids don't play out, do they? Kids, parents are scared to let the kids play out, and that's why the streets are dangerous now, because no one's playing out on the streets. Whereas when I was a kid, everyone was out on the streets. The streets were safer, because there was more people knocking about.
Right.
Let the kids play out.
It must be like a constant, like a Larry painting, his front garden, do you know what I mean? Just loads of people just
There was
walking
never any
around.
problems. I was sort of taken away by some fella.
What? Hang on a minute.
Whoa.
No, I was playing about in the garden.
Yeah.
But my dad's mate, Tony,
Yeah.
he did tiling with him. He drove past, and he saw me looking a bit fed up, so he just leant over, picked me up, took me to the pub. Now, the thing is, there wasn't panic. People weren't going, oh, God, where's Karl gone?
He's out.
Just
How old were you?
He's down the pub. He's 4 years old, yeah. Well, he's only having a...
He's down the pub with Tony, probably playing darts.
Yeah, I was about 3 or 4.
Sorry, so some bloke drives by who happens to be a friend of your dad's, thinks that baby looks grumpy.
Yeah.
I'm taking him down to
But
the pub.
that's what it was
Tony,
like.
you bringing a baby to the pub? Yeah, I might do, yeah, we'll bring in ours. All right, see you later, mate.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Whereas now they go, the baby's gone. There's a big full-on panic going
Yeah,
on.
but I think it says more about your parents that they didn't do that. They looked out in the back car and you were gone. Some bloke's driving off in a van. They're just going, oh, well,
They rode down the pub.
doesn't Princess Diana look lovely? This is absurd. So what happened when you got down the pub?
I just was there for a bit, and then
For a bit, just had a game of pool.
then my dad came in. It was like, oh, there you are.
Oh, there you are! I love that! Where's my baby? Going to try, I'm just going to have a quick pint. Oh, there you are. All right, mate.
So, yeah, I think things were better back then.
Karl, let's give him a list. Top 5 something. What are you interested in? Are you interested in news, sport, TV, cars, movies, style?
I mean, I'm into weird stuff, but it seems a bit tight to stick them in a list.
What, like what?
Well, like, sort of freaky people and that. I've got that freak book. But I don't know if they'd be happy if I call one of them and said, good news, you're at number 1, because you've got 4 legs or whatever. I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, then, this is the Karl Pilkington Top 5 Freaks in at number 5.
Probably something not too good at number 5, but it's still interesting. Lighthouse Man.
Who's that?
Lighthouse Man?
What's Lighthouse Man?
It's a fella with a hole in his head. And he, what he does, rather than moan about it, sticks a candle in it.
Shut up. What are you talking about?
Sticks a candle
What are
in
you
it.
talking about? Where is the
I
hole?
bet he didn't call himself Lighthouse Man, did he?
Well, I don't know. It's just what he got nicknamed because he had this hole. Doctors were like, "There's nothing we can do. Can't fill it." He thought, "What can I do with it?" And it was of the days when there was no electric and that. You had to walk about with a candle. Just thought, hang on a minute.
I can have both
Got a
hands
little
for
candle
you.
holder here. Stuck a candle in it. And he just got nicknamed the Lighthouse Man. So again, it's not that amazing, but I like the way he was sort of energy efficient.
So was it in his forehead?
No, on the very top of his head.
That's perfect. You don't want it in the forehead, Steve. You'd have to walk back with
That'd
your
be
neck
ridiculous.
cricked.
So he was like a kind of human jack-o'-lantern?
Well, he's a Lighthouse Man. What did you see? What
Sorry, mate, yeah, I
better
forgot
description
about
do you
that.
need than the Lighthouse Man?
So yeah, he's probably at number 5.
Wow, that's at number 5, Steve.
Number 4.
What about Pig-Faced Woman of Manchester Square?
Again, you're getting what it says in the tin there, aren't you?
Right.
And it's just this woman who had a face like a pig. And the rumour was
Yeah.
that it wasn't a woman. Someone said it was a pet bear and they'd shaved it. That's what that's what
Was
I've
this
heard.
someone? Was this someone you saw? Or
No,
that you
no,
just read
this
about?
is going back.
This is years ago.
This is years and years ago.
Yeah.
When there was loads of like weird looking people. I mean, the fact that it's Pig-Faced Woman of Manchester Square
Yeah.
says that there might have been one in
Piccadilly Circus.
yeah, whatever. So there was a lot more of them knocking about back then.
Let's assume that it was a woman, and the first one, the Lighthouse fellow, he's a human. Do you think people would object because of their disfigurement, deformity, a bit like being called freaks? Do you think?
Well, it gave them a purpose back then. See, if you were a freak years ago, there was work for you. You'd have these circus things. Now, if you've got a funny head, you're on the dole.
Number 3?
What about Elephant Man?
Right.
Stick him at number 3. He's
Number 3.
He's surely the most famous freak ever to have lived, isn't he?
He's the one who got me into it.
Right. Yeah, sure. He's sort of entry-level freak.
Yeah.
A gateway freak.
Everyone is aware of him.
If the Elephant Man still existed, right, and you got the opportunity to meet him, and you walked in, a couple of questions. 1, what would your first reaction be? And 2, what would you say to him? What would your first question be?
How would I react? Well, I've sort of seen him enough now that it wouldn't shock me. So I don't even think I'd flinch.
Okay.
I mean, like I said, when I first saw you, that was a bit weird. But now, look, I can look at you. I don't double take or anything. What would I say to him, though? I'd probably say, where do you get that hat to fit you? You always had that on. Where do you get that from?
That sort of flat cap that he's got.
Yeah, that one, didn't he? So, yeah, I'd have him. So he's at number 3.
Right. Elephant Man number 3. I can't wait for 2 and 1. Right, okay, number 2.
Well, I know what my number 1 is. It's just number 2 now. I don't know his name, but there's a fella knocking about. Well, I don't think he's around anymore. But he had like a normal body. Looking at him, you'd go, "What's up with him? He's not a freak." Takes his undies off. Got 2 knobs.
Right.
Wow.
Okay.
I mean, he doesn't know where to start. Do you think he uses them alternately, like have a wee out of this one, have a wee out of that one, or does he just like spread the load so he's weeing out of both?
I don't think he knows.
What do you mean he
it's
doesn't
sort of
know?
like a lucky dip. When he goes to a urinal,
Yeah.
he can have a little bet with himself. He's just like, I don't know what's going to happen here.
So do you reckon he holds them both out?
Definitely.
So he takes his trousers down because, I mean, you know...
He can't use a Y front.
Right.
Need more like a W front.
Yeah. So he pops his pecs down there.
I don't think it's that much of a problem. It's not like...
Wow. I don't know.
I'd prefer that than Elephant Man's head.
Well, of course you would.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
What if you had Elephant Man's knob?
Yeah, but he didn't work like that, did it? That's the thing. They said he had the body of an elephant, but that's the only thing that wasn't of an elephant standard. His knob was normal. Whereas with this fella, it's the other way round. Everything normal, take the pants off. Oh, well, what's going on here?
But why would you ever take his pants off?
No, I wouldn't. I'm just saying if...
But why? I don't know why you'd be in a situation with this man with 2 knobs standing there with his pants on and you go pop your pants off. You're not a doctor.
No, I say if I'm waiting in a cubicle and he's there.
For what?
Sure, you're waiting in the cubicle and he comes in.
I'm waiting to have a wee at a cubicle.
Oh,
He's
in the
taking 2
toilet.
urinals up and going,
Right.
hang on, you don't need them both, do you? He goes, well, actually,
Oh, and then
have a look at this.
Right.
He's got 2 knobs.
See, I didn't see him at 2 urinals. I saw him at 1, maybe them pointing inwards.
If you had that, and say the first time that you met Suzanne, would you mention that straight up?
Would you say, right, before this goes any further, I've got something to show you?
Well, let's see. Tell me exactly what you would say.
You had normal head then, didn't you?
I had the same head, yeah.
Yeah, but it had, like, hair coming out of it, didn't it? And sort
Yeah,
of...
yeah, but she also had a smaller arse back then as well, so I think we've both been dumb.
Anyway, we need to get to number 1.
Yeah, number 1.
Okay, it is.
It's Pillow Man.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, man. Okay, now explain for those that don't know who he was.
He's a fella with no arms and legs, just a head and a little body. Nickname Pillow Man.
Well, why is he your favourite?
Just because he's amazing. Just the way he just got on with his life. He used to light a cig, just using his lips and his tongue and that.
Oh, I've
And
seen
not
this.
fully lit. He'd buy like Roll Your Own.
Yeah, it's in the film Freaks, isn't it?
Yeah.
And he
He had a
rolls
shave
it.
as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
How did he have
Do you
a
think
shave?
he used to do it? He used to get it in his mouth, and I don't know.
Jesus.
It's amazing. Did he have a knob?
I think he did because he had some kids.
What?
Yeah, he had kids. He was an all right looking fella. He wasn't odd looking. It's just that
sorry?
he looked like Samuel L. Jackson. Imagine him with no arms and legs.
Right, that's odd though, isn't it? Really?
It's weird, but you've got to give it to him. You know, I mean, he's there rolling his own. He's pretty cool looking.
I just want to say to people, it's no. You say it looks cool, to, with no arms and no legs to smoke, but don't forget that smoking can stunt your growth.
Yeah, but yeah, remember he was on like this circus freak show thing with like a bearded woman,
Yeah.
right? Which isn't really a freak, is it? She could have a shave. Have a shave, you're not a freak anymore.
Yeah.
A bearded woman, compared to a fella who's got no arms and legs, a bearded woman, get out. But there was like a fella with no bottom half to his body, called Johnny Eck, was his name. So, when you're knocking about with that crowd, you're going to get a bit. You're going to get a bit. So, yeah, he had kids and they were all normal kids. They had all the limbs.
Did his
and
wife
everything.
had arms and legs?
Never saw his wife.
Never saw his wife.
I think
He was probably ashamed of her. She was a bit of a freak.
for someone like him, you'd think he'd just give up, wouldn't you? You think, forget it. What sort of life is it?
Yeah.
I'm like a Mexican jumping bean. It's not worth living. But he just got on with it. To have a shave, I don't even bother having a shave some days.
No. Nor did the bearded lady. Lazy fucking bitch.
So that's why I've put him at my number 1 position. It's just amazing, isn't it? The human, how whatever you dealt, some people just get on with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Pillow Man, or Draft Excluder, as I prefer to call him.
There you go. Oh. Now, me and Steve are a couple of big shots. We do this for a laugh, but this is Karl Pilkington's only source of income. This is what you do now, isn't it?
This is my full-time job, yeah.
What do you think of that? Is
It depresses me.
Why?
This isn't what I ever wanted. Because I haven't got a purpose, have I? I'm sat here talking about the pillow man. If it weren't for him, I'd have nothing to say. It just depresses me. That I just wish I had a job where I felt like I was needed. And I don't feel needed. It's not a proper job.
We need you.
We
need you for money for old road.
I know, but this isn't. I wanted something that, you know, when you die and that, it's, you know, you get up to the gates, whatever, and they say, "What have you done?" And then I'm looking worried, thinking, "Is the pillow man about?"